Chapter 2604. In the void deep within the Capital Institute, a beam of light streaked across the void. This power, it's completely at the level of a great emperor. When did the Empire produce another great emperor-level expert? Why didn't I know about it? An old man sitting cross-legged in the void suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a rare look of shock. This old man was the dean. That power is within the Institute and is within reach. Who is it? The dean wore a solemn expression. With a swipe of his hands, he tore open the void and disappeared. Something big had happened. Such thoughts kept churning in his mind. In a secret chamber deep within the imperial palace, a handsome, middle-aged man suddenly opened his eyes, exuding a domineering aura. This is the aura of a great emperor. Although it's not completely there, it has the power of a great emperor. Could it be that a great emperor from the demon god empire has come to cause trouble? The middle-aged man could no longer sit still. He also tore open the void and entered it as if there was nothing there. In the faraway demon god empire, a pair of sharp eyes pierced through countless layers of space and landed heavily on the Empire expedition. It was a black throne in the void. In front of the black throne, on both sides stood 5 statues, emitting a sinister and evil aura. It was an emotionless face, the aura of a great emperor. Could it be that the Empire expedition has produced another great emperor-level expert? The face continued to stare at them. We have to hurry up. Everyone in the Capital Institute was immersed in the terrifying aura of the punch and was momentarily stunned. So scary. Is this still the same Lin Fei? He turned a yellow-grayed, heavenly guard into a mist of blood with one punch. If that were to land on us, we would probably be nothing. Luckily, I didn't offend Lin Fei. That's great. From now on, Lin Fei will be my idol, be it the prodigies who were previously convinced or not. Now they were all convinced. Under that punch, they were filled with despair. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. The yellow-grayed heavenly guard was powerful, but he was still killed by a single punch. This was definitely a top-notch ability that only those who had reached the 9th job transition would have. When the gap between them wasn't too big, there would be jealousy and jealousy. Once someone surpassed them and reached a whole new realm, jealousy and jealousy would turn into admiration. This was something that he could never catch up to in his lifetime. Cough, cough, cough. Qiao Qingshan had goosebumps all over his body. Facing that punch, even if it wasn't directed at him, the power it produced still made him feel a lingering fear. This is the peak strength of a 9th career professional. I'm afraid that this punch has reached the great emperor realm that many people can't reach in their entire lives. Qiao Qingshan's voice trembled. This realm was like a huge door that kept him at bay, making it difficult for him to take even a single step forward. If nothing unexpected happened, it would be almost impossible for him to enter this realm in this lifetime. Now, a monster had appeared in the academy. Just one punch was enough to release the aura of a great emperor. In the eyes of Qiao Qingshan, Lin Fei suddenly became taller. This was a true monster. He really hit it well. Lin Fei saw the changes in everyone. After using 1/10 of his energy to unleash this punch, Lin Fei already knew that this would happen. There are 2 powerful auras. One of them is slightly familiar. It should be the old dean. The other one is obscure, but has a trace of domineering aura. To be able to appear at this moment, it should be the great emperor of the empire. Lin Fei immediately analyzed the origin of the other party. The first to arrive was the old dean. As soon as he appeared in the sky, the old dean noticed the situation. As he was in seclusion, he didn't know what was happening here. When he saw Lin Fei standing in the sky and the remnant aura in the air, he immediately realized what had happened. Could it be little Lin? The old dean was shocked. Ancient beast, there's actually an ancient beast, the golden-horned ancient beast of the empire. At this moment, the golden-horned ancient beast was on the verge of collapsing. On its back, there was a young man. It was Fan Qinglong. His body was flickering with a faint light, like a candle that could be extinguished at any time. Sir, he is just a junior. Even if he offended you, you don't have to be so ruthless. The golden-horned ancient beast's body was also filled with wounds, intersecting with each other. The golden-horned ancient beast was extremely bitter. A wind god ancient beast that didn't care about it had exploded with an extremely powerful strength to resist its two great abilities. Under the situation where it couldn't suppress the opponent, it could only be beaten up. Luckily, its skin was thick and it didn't die. The only thing it didn't expect was that the young man could unleash such a terrifying punch. It had the power of a great emperor. Following beside a great emperor, the golden-horned ancient beast knew the power of a great emperor. The punch just now already had the power of a great emperor. If a great emperor attacked, he would definitely die. The golden-horned ancient beast obviously couldn't let anything happen to Fan Qinglong. It immediately activated its two great abilities and took out its treasures to barely block the attack. Fan Qinglong didn't gain any advantage. He was heavily injured and on the verge of death. Lin Fei could tell what the golden-horned ancient beast was trying to say. Using 10% of my energy, the power should be at the great emperor level. Even if it's not a real great emperor, at least it has the appearance of one. This punch was worth it. Lin Fei was relieved. If I want something, who would dare to not give it to me? Lin Fei snorted coldly. Fan Qinglong thinks that he can do whatever he wants just because he's a member of the imperial family. I'm just letting him gain some experience so that he won't think that everyone in this world is someone he can bully. The golden-horned ancient beast was obviously feeling the pressure. A pseudo-great emperor and a wind god ancient beast that was not weaker than itself. If one came, it would be fine, but if the two came together, it might be killed on the spot. The golden-horned ancient beast clenched its teeth. You heavily injured the fifth prince. Even though I can't do anything to you, the great emperor will find you for it. If it didn't help, the fifth prince Fan Qinglong would be dead for sure. The great emperor would definitely intervene in this matter. Lin Fei now had confidence. Even though he only had 60 to 70% of his energy left, he could still attack a few more times. Even a great emperor would have to think about the consequences. I don't care. At most, we'll just fight. Little Devil returned to Lin Fei's side. Golden-horned ancient bastard, don't run so fast. Let's continue. Whoever runs is a coward. The golden-horned ancient beast's face darkened. He couldn't suppress the wind god ancient beast. The wind god ancient beast relied on its speed and suffered greatly. If they were to fight to the end, the loser would definitely be himself. I dare you to say that again. The golden-horned ancient beast was prideful. Chapter 2605. The golden-horned beast had fought countless battles with the emperors, but there had never been a junior who dared to be so arrogant in front of it. The wind god beast was the first, yet there was a powerful young man next to the wind god beast. Unless the emperors were here, he alone wouldn't be able to beat them. Endure. I have to endure. The golden-horned beast had a bad temper. After so many years, it knew that once it couldn't control itself and attacked, it would be the same as falling into the opponent's trap. The most important thing now was to bring the person back. Master, it's here. The golden-horned beast suddenly revealed a look of joy. A familiar aura had arrived. Even though it was just a clone, it still had a portion of the Emperor's battle strength. Since the Emperor is here, why don't you come out and greet me? A middle-aged man appeared from the void, expressionless. His cold eyes shot out as he said, I didn't think that our empire would have another emperor. However, your actions are wrong. Even if Azure Dragon offended you, he is still a member of the royal family. We, the royal family, will deal with him. For now, it's not up to you to deal with him. The middle-aged man was the emperor's clone. This clone was in charge of the empire. Unless something really big happened, the clone would only come out to deal with it. Since a quasi-great emperor's aura had appeared in the empire, this clone naturally had to come out. After all, the significance was different. It was fine for his side as he only needed to rope them in. But if it was the enemy, then he had to take advantage of the fact that the other party hadn't stabilized his footing to get rid of him. Lin Fei could feel a terrifying and dangerous aura from the opponent. This should be the doppelganger of a great sovereign. It's indeed different. Just a doppelganger alone should have the strength of a great sovereign. I wonder if it can withstand 1/10 of my energy. Lin Fei guessed. What's done is done. There's no point in talking about this. Why don't you make a statement and we'll have a good talk? Lin Fei wasn't afraid. Suppressing the 5th prince wasn't much. Suppressing the golden-horned beast wasn't much either. Suppressing the clone in front of him was the main point. Lin Fei had already made the best preparations. Master, this man has an ancient wind god beast by his side, and he knows a secret art that allows his strength to skyrocket and increase his speed to the limit. Even my 2 abilities aren't enough to suppress him. If we really fight him, it'll be a difficult battle. The golden-horned beast came to the side of the Emperor clone. Even though the golden-horned beast really wanted to take revenge, this was obviously not the right time. The opponent was an ancient beast and a human. Their combined strength was not any weaker than their side. If they really fought, it was hard to say who would win. The Great Monarch's clone was a part of the Great Monarch. It didn't have any personal emotions and only had rational judgment. It wouldn't act recklessly and would always maintain an advantageous position. Azure Dragon is seriously injured and needs immediate treatment. This person should be someone from the Avengers. I didn't expect them to have hidden themselves so well and have deceived everyone. If we really make a move to capture them now, the chances of success are not high, and we might even have to pay a price. This is very disadvantageous to the Empire. In the blink of an eye, the Great Monarch's clone had many thoughts, analyzing and judging. His eyes were filled with wisdom. The results were there. He couldn't make a move for the time being. That would be detrimental to the Empire. You injured Azure Dragon. You have to give me an explanation. The Great Monarch's clone wouldn't take the initiative to retreat. This would greatly affect the reputation of the royal family. If you can injure Azure Dragon with 1 punch, then prepare to take a punch from me. This was the best idea that the Great Monarch's clone had thought of. The opponent was a quasi-Great Monarch. Unless he was killed in 1 strike, once the opponent escaped, it would be a nightmare for the Empire. This method was the best. Both sides wouldn't suffer any losses. This is a good idea. The Great Monarch's clone still knows how to do things, as expected of someone who only has wisdom and prudence. With personal emotions, it wouldn't be handled like this. In the sky, the old dean muttered to himself, I wonder if Shaolin has really reached the quasi-Great Monarch realm. His aura-concealing technique is quite impressive. Even an old man like me couldn't tell. The old dean was getting more and more interested in this Avengers alliance. This was really a case of not coming. But once he did, he shocked the world with a single brilliant feat, fair enough. Then let's do it. Lin Fei's body suddenly exploded with a strong battle intent. He stared straight at the Great Monarch's clone. He wanted to know how much of a difference there was between him and the Great Monarch's clone. The Great Monarch's clone also released his aura. Once this aura was released, his entire body became as heavy as a mountain. The dense aura was vast and boundless. Even through the array, the people of the Capital Institute could feel the immense pressure. Their breathing quickened as they looked at each other and gasped. Is this the aura of the Great Monarch? Everyone channeled their energy to resist the crushing pressure of this aura. Just the aftershock alone was too much for them. If they were deep in the center, wouldn't they die on the spot? 5 thunder sky level fist, wind and thunder roar. When the Great Monarch's aura reached its peak, he punched through the air. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as this punch was thrown, a strong gust of wind blew and sand and pebbles flew. Accompanied by the roar of thunder, the combination of the two increased its power. Lin Fei's pupils constricted, and his hair stood on end. Wind and thunder came together. Lin Fei was as still as a mountain. He waved his hand and met the attack with an ordinary punch, like before. The wind from the punch whistled. With a loud bang, the wind from the punch collided with the wind and thunder. The air around them was already swallowed by the shock waves. Everyone could only feel that the terrifying aura was blowing on them, as if they were being stabbed by a knife. The power of the great monarch. Qiao Qingshan was protected by a shield and his eyes sparkled. Capital Institute is going to soar. It's the power of the great monarch indeed. Xiao Lin has brought us a big surprise. Up in the sky, the dean didn't activate his barrier. He just stood there. The shock waves were like a stream of water, splitting into two in front of him and passing by him. But at this moment, no one was paying attention to the old dean. Everyone's attention was on the people above. They all wanted to know who had won and who had lost. The great monarch is indeed the great monarch. Lin Fei has learned his lesson. Lin Fei cupped his fists at the great monarch's clone. There was still a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. On the other hand, the great monarch's clone was as calm as before. He clearly had the upper hand. The great monarch's clone did not say anything. He glanced at Lin Fei and said, "Let's go back." The golden-horned beast glared at him and left as well. "Master, you're so evil. You're setting a trap for them." The little demon smirked. Chapter 2606. Lin Fei had indeed underestimated the strength of a great emperor's clone. This is good too. Everyone will think that my strength is at most a quasi-great emperor, and they will naturally look down on me. At that time, I can take them all down at once. Even though the system was only left with 50% of its energy, Lin Fei did not feel the slightest bit of heartache. This was a good deal. From today onward, the Avengers would no longer be destroyed by anyone. The great emperor's clone had left. However, this did not mean that this matter had come to an end. How can he be a quasi-great emperor expert? Yuan Kuin was extremely unwilling. The fifth prince had brought the yellow-grayed heavenly guards, the golden-horned ancient beast, and the great emperor's clone, but they still could not do anything to Lin Fei. "I have to leave immediately." Yuan Kuin had previously looked down on Lin Fei because the latter's strength was low, and he could use him as an example. However, the current situation was completely different. Not only did Lin Fei have the wind god ancient beast, which could rival the golden-horned ancient beast, but Lin Fei himself could also unleash the strength of a great emperor. There was no point for Yuan Kuin to stay here any longer, so he might as well escape before Lin Fei could react. "City Lord Yuan, I don't think I told you to leave." Lin Fei's sharp gaze swept over. Yuan Kuin's body stiffened, and his scalp went numb. He felt as if he was being stared at by a ferocious tiger. His back was drenched in sweat, and he tried his best to calm down. When he thought about how Lin Fei could force the great emperor's clone to retreat, how could he possibly stand a chance? This is a misunderstanding. They were the ones who instigated it. "I really don't have the guts to make an enemy out of you." Yuan Kuin lowered his head. "Misunderstanding? Hee hee." Lin Fei laughed. "What about this? Can I say that it's a misunderstanding as well?" He raised his hand and pressed down on Yuan Kuin. "Don't kill me. I was wrong. I really—" Yuan Kuin was smashed into minced meat by Lin Fei, and he could not be more dead. Qiao Qingshan smiled bitterly and shook his head. "This Lin really abhors evil. Yuan Kuin deserves to die. It's good that he left earlier. He provoked us again and again. Now he's played himself to death." Yuan Kuin was quite famous. Qiao Qingshan was not afraid of him. If he died now, then so be it. It was no big deal. "All right, everyone disperse." Qiao Qingshan chased the students away. Since the dean had spoken who dared to stay, they immediately dispersed. But today's events would definitely be spread by their mouths. He can actually unleash the strength of a great emperor. The smile on Xiao Ran's face was finally replaced by a gloomy expression. He paced back and forth. How did he manage to unleash the strength of a martial monarch? It's impossible. No one can become a martial monarch at his age and succeed. There must be something wrong. Others were shocked by Lin Fei's strength. Xiao Ran wasn't afraid. Young master, could it be that the Avengers have developed a new technological equipment? For example, they could store the energy of heaven and earth and then use it to unleash it all at once. To create an attack with the strength of a martial monarch? A confidant beside him said. Xiao Ran's eyes lit up. Right, that must be the case. Lin Fei must have used a technological weapon to deceive everyone. Even if he is a genius, he can forget about becoming a martial monarch. Xiao Ran himself was very talented. At such a young age, his strength was already terrifying. He had no confidence in the realm of a martial monarch. Young master, since that brat Lin Fei has such a technological weapon, we have to be on guard. Even if we have our clan's treasure, we won't be able to block the attack of a martial monarch. Xiao Ran shook his head. This is not a problem. The technological weapon on Lin Fei's body shouldn't be that easy to obtain. I reckon he can only use it 2 or 3 times. As long as we deal with it well, there's nothing to be afraid of. However, if we can get our hands on this treasure, it will be equivalent to having a secret trump card. At this moment, Xiao Ran was thinking far ahead. We have to report this. I didn't expect the Avengers to have such a secret weapon. It's a pity that it was exposed too early. If it was an individual technological weapon, it would at most make people jealous. But this kind of technological weapon that could unleash the power of a martial monarch was a different story. It would be an unimaginable attraction to the major families and forces. Very soon, this place will become a whirlpool. Xiao Ran believed in his judgment. The news began to spread on that day. Everyone in the empire was shocked. A young martial monarch to the martial monarch stage? Every student of Imperial College had a strong background and wealth. They reported the news immediately. Even though the Capital Institute was isolated by the formation, some experts could still sense the attack from a martial monarch. Although they could not know the details, they immediately understood what was going on. This was a battle between martial monarchs. One punch to kill a yellow-grade heavenly guard and severely injure the 5th prince, Fan Qinglong. Any one of these events was a major event. The news spread from the capital to the major galaxies, then to the demon god empire, and slowly spread out. Shaolin, you're too reckless. In the pavilion on Emperor Peak, Qiao Qingshan said in a sincere tone. Qinlan and Fan Luoyu had not digested the news yet. A martial monarch to the martial monarch stage? Qinlan had thought that Lin Fei was someone with a strong background. She had not expected him to be so powerful and have the protection of the ancient wind god beast. Fan Luoyu was the same. He was too powerful. It seems that my choice has always been very reliable. Compared to the 2 girls' happiness, Qiao Qingshan was not so excited. After calming down, the role of a research dean came into play. He analyzed and calculated, and the result was not very good. Lin Fei might not be a martial monarch to the martial monarch stage. He might have borrowed the power of a treasure. If anyone else heard this, they would definitely scoff. But Lin Fei was different. He had the Avengers behind him, and he had even declared that he would use technology to influence the galaxy. Others could not do it, but it did not mean that the Avengers could not. They were a group of people who wanted revenge. Qiao Qingshan even suspected that they had obtained the technology of a different dimension. That was why they had this kind of scientific research. Qiao Qingshan was very clear about this kind of top secret. There was a high possibility that it was true. Dean, are you worried that they will have other ideas and take the risk to steal it? Lin Fei knew that those people would definitely think of this after they calmed down. Since you know it yourself, those people will definitely think of it after they calm down. Qiao Qingshan nodded. Lin Fei suddenly smiled. Dean, do you also think that it's the help of technology? Chapter 2607. The news that Lin Fei was a great empress spread like wildfire. It didn't matter if it was just speculation or suspicion. Lin Fei of the Avengers had at least mastered the ability to unleash a great emperor-level attack, which was completely shocking. Could the power of technology really reach such a level? Some didn't believe it, while others did. The outside world was abuzz with discussion. The Expedition Empire fell into a rare silence. There was no movement, as if the 50 yellow-level heavenly guards had died for nothing. This was beyond everyone's imagination. Thinking about it carefully, it made sense. Unless a great emperor-level expert was deployed, no matter how many came, it would be suicide. Just Lin Fei's ability to set up arrays was enough to overwhelm everyone. At first, everyone thought that Lin Fei was bound to lose. After his physical body and ability to set up arrays were restricted, Lin Fei would have to follow them obediently even if he was extremely powerful. However, they didn't expect Lin Fei to have hidden his strength so well. The combat power of a great emperor-level expert. This was beyond imagination. With such power, who would dare to come forward and court death, unless they were tired of living? Just then, another piece of news spread. Everyone was in an uproar after hearing it. The Avengers would establish a second Avengers Chamber of Commerce in the Capital Institute, which would be fully open to the public in the near future. At the same time, they would hold their first auction. This news was sensational. The major forces were excited. It was finally their turn. Many forces couldn't go to the ancient wasteland world, so they naturally missed the auction. Now that they were at their doorstep, they couldn't stop smiling. That's great. Finally, we don't have to go to the ancient wasteland world. All hail the Avengers Chamber of Commerce. That's awesome. Be it the Expedition Empire or the Demon God Empire, everyone was very excited. This was an opportunity, especially the forces in the capital. They were more excited than anyone else. They were really at their doorstep. Therefore, the major forces began to raise funds and store them like crazy. Their branches in the major galaxies kept sending in large amounts of money. All the forces were prepared to purchase a batch of resources from this auction to increase the overall strength of their families. If anyone were to fall behind the others at this time, it would be a significant loss to the family. If it was before, these forces would have contacted Lin Fei and even secretly made deals in advance. However, after the fight with the great emperor of the imperial family, they no longer had the guts to do so. Who knew if the sovereign family would bear a grudge against them? After all, the sovereign family was still above them. A great emperor was enough to suppress all forces within the empire that were disobedient. Deep within the palace, more than 20 people were floating in the air. These people were old and clumsy. Their hair was white and their faces were rosy. They were all the imperial uncles of the imperial clan and had great accomplishments in their cultivation. Any one of them would be a powerful expert, and the mere mention of them would become nightmares for many people. We've all misjudged Lin Fei. We didn't expect him to display the strength of a quasi-great emperor. Now, we need to discuss how to deal with this matter. The group of imperial elders was not having an easy time either. The strength of a quasi-great emperor was indeed terrifying. This is an unstable factor. The Milky Way pearl was still in the hands of the other party. Should they take it back? This old man suggests that we mobilize the members of our group of imperial elders to suppress this unstable factor and ban the Avengers Chamber of Commerce. This was the voice of the opposition. We can establish a foothold in the star field, control one star field after another, and form a huge empire. Although the Avengers Alliance is mysterious, if we really want to fight, they might not dare to make a big move. Ban the Avengers Chamber of Commerce. Take down Qiao Qingshan. His behavior is colluding with the enemy. In the eyes of the opposition, this kind of behavior was a provocation, and they must be suppressed, even if there was a quasi-great emperor expert. This old man thinks that it's better to think about this matter at length. Those who were pro-peace spoke up. That brat Lin Fei has repeatedly refreshed our impression of him. Who can be sure that there aren't any hidden experts in the empire? What if a quasi-great emperor expert appears while we are suppressing them? Who can suppress them then? We can't suppress them. Once a chain reaction is caused, the impact will be too terrible. This will shake the foundation of our empire. The demon god empire is eyeing us covetously. Who knows if they will take advantage of this time to attack? We have to guard against all of these. We have to suppress them. We can't suppress them. Our empire can't fall into the flames of war. The group of elders was in a fierce struggle. Those who were in the middle had been sitting quietly. If everyone is not convinced, then raise your hands and vote. The minority obeys the majority. This was the fairest method that the group of elders had ever used. Those who are in favor of suppressing Lin Fei, raise your hands. All the hands of the opposition were raised. No one from the middle raised their hands. The expression of the leader of the opposition turned ugly. They actually didn't get the middle to support their idea. A total of 9 people are in favor. Those who are in favor of treating Lin Fei peacefully, raise your hands. Whoosh! Many hands were raised. Out of 18 people, 3 abstained. The group of elders of the royal family made the final decision. At the same time, in the headquarters of Tianji Hall in the ancient wasteland world, as the news of Yuan Kuin's death spread, the faces of the upper echelons of Tianji Hall darkened even more. At the beginning, Tianji Hall strongly wanted to send experts to kill Lin Fei and destroy the Avengers in the expedition to the Empire, thus disintegrating their influence. After the news that Lin Fei was a quasi-great emperor expert was exposed, the upper echelons of Tianji Hall felt as if they had swallowed a fly. Quasi-great emperor expert. These words were rather jarring to the ear. If they wanted to send experts to deal with Lin Fei, they would have to send quasi-great emperors. However, quasi-great emperors were not ordinary people. If they lost one, it would be a great loss. The upper echelons of Tianji Hall couldn't make a decision and could only report it again. This matter was too important. If they waited until the Avengers established a second division in the Empire, then Tianji Hall would completely lose its influence on the expedition to the Empire. In front of the Avengers, the treasures of the Heavenly Secrets Hall could never compare in terms of quality, nor could they compete with the Avengers in terms of price. The Avengers walked the path of cheap goods, and the upper echelons of the Heavenly Secrets Hall had mocked them countless times. By disregarding the cost, they were clearly forcing the Heavenly Secrets Hall to its death. The expedition to the Empire was a place of huge consumption and also one of the sources of income for Tianji Hall. No one was willing to give it up just like that. Who would have thought that the Avengers, which had only appeared recently, would shake the interests of the Secret Hall? If they had known this would happen, they would have sent a large number of troops to wipe out the Avengers from the beginning. Today's incident would not have happened. The Avengers have stretched their hands too far. They want to shake our foundation. In the depths of Tianji Hall, 6 groups of energy were discussing. A quasi-great emperor expert is nothing. However, the methods they have are what we are most worried about. I can confirm one thing, and that is that the Avengers must have obtained some technological treasures in the alternate dimension, which gives them an advantage over us. The 6 groups of energy discussed. Chapter 2608. Lin Fei still stayed on Emperor Peak. The construction of the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce was also orderly. There was no movement from the royal family, which made Lin Fei less worried. He did not completely ignore them, and arranged for special creatures to monitor them, just in case they played any tricks. The royal family had always been shameless. On this point, Lin Fei had to be on guard. No one wanted to fail miserably. It was better to be safe than sorry. During this period, Lin Fei secretly went to the ancient wasteland world. With the long-distance teleportation formation, it was easy to come and go. His goal was also simple, to replenish the energy units. Even though he did not squander energy units that day, he still used up a lot of energy units. He used up 50% of the energy units. The ancient wasteland world became the replenishment station. First was the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce. It was really making money every day. In South Cloud Continent, its influence had reached unprecedented heights. After trying out the technological treasures of the Vengeance Chamber, everyone gradually liked them. As the largest source of energy units, Lin Fei placed great importance on it. After extracting all the energy units, Lin Fei replenished a batch of resources. Other than that, he strengthened the defenses to prevent Tianji Hall from causing trouble. During this period, Lin Fei also went to the demonic poison tribe, a tribe that he had single-handedly supported. The Hu demons reported the situation. In the days when Lin Fei was not around, the Hu demons carried out his orders seriously. They used the power of the technological treasures to expand the strength of the tribe. They swallowed up the surrounding small tribes and had their own influence in Donglian continent. Lin Fei also obtained large amounts of energy units. The Lianyun continent was the place where the tribes and the human race fought fiercely for territory. This place was rich in resources. There were countless mines with hundreds of thousands or even millions of energy wall stones. The Hu demons had recently acquired 7 or 8 mines. Each had hundreds of thousands of energy wall stones that could be mined. The largest one had 7 million energy wall stones. After returning from the ancient wasteland world, Lin Fei replenished the energy units he had previously used up to 90%. Even though it was not completely replenished, 90% of the energy units was enough to satisfy Lin Fei. At the very least, he could unleash 9 quasi-great emperor-level attacks. It would be a nightmare for anyone. Time passed day by day. Lin Fei just stayed on Emperor Peak. Qin Lan and Fan Rui would still bicker, but they rarely used their martial skills. It was unknown if they were frightened by Lin Fei's abilities that day. This leisurely and contented life did not last long. Fan Qingyuan, the eldest prince, brought a piece of bad news. After finding out that Lin Fei could unleash the strength of a great emperor, Fan Qingyuan sighed. He was secretly glad that he did not really offend Lin Fei. He could not do anything about the group of elders of the royal family. After all, the Milky Way pearl had always been kept by the group of elders of the royal family. After Lin Fei displayed his terrifying strength, Fan Qingyuan was released by the group of royal elders and released from house arrest. The first thing he did was to apologize. "Brother-in-law, what brings you here?" Every time he saw Fan Qingyuan, Lin Fei would change the way he addressed him. In the beginning, Fan Qingyuan was a little embarrassed, but after a few times he became numb to it and responded with a fake smile. "Here comes your trouble." "Trouble?" Fan Qingyuan sat down. "The people from the Shao family are here. You snatched Jiu Mei, and young Master Shao is determined to get her. Now that the family is here, you have to be prepared." At the mention of the Shao family, Fan Qingyuan, the eldest prince, still had a serious expression. There were only 8 ancient families. The Shao family was not at the bottom of the ancient families and was naturally worthy of attention. "Brother-in-law, you are too worried about this." Lin Fei did not really care, especially since this was the capital institute. No matter how powerful the Shao family was, they would not dare to offend the royal family. "But I heard that the Shao family has sent a great emperor to support young Master Shao. They must bring Jiu Mei back. I just received the news. You have to be prepared." Lin Fei was a little surprised. "They really think highly of me. They actually sent a great emperor. They are ancient families. Which family doesn't have 1 or 2 great emperors? The 8 ancient families all have a real great emperor. What do you think?" Lin Fei was very unhappy. The Shao family must have something wrong with their brains. They knew that he had the strength of a great emperor, but they still wanted to take Fan Luoyu away. Could it be that they had some secret? At this moment, Lin Fei was curious. Brother-in-law, does your clan's ninth sister have some secret? Otherwise, why would the Shao clan offend a quasi-emperor powerhouse? Lin Fei said with a frown. Fan Qingyuan smiled bitterly. This I really don't know. I am also puzzled by this question, but I just don't understand why the Shao family is so insistent. Forget it. She is here with me. If the Shao family has the ability, come and take her back. Lin Fei was really not afraid of the Shao family. The Capital Institute was not as ordinary as he imagined. If the Shao family's experts came, they would definitely be at a disadvantage. Fan Qingyuan did not stay for too long. According to what he said, as the eldest prince, he had to welcome the Shao family. There were still many things he had to do. Don't hide. I saw it, Lin Fei said to a fake mountain. How boring. Don't you know how to pretend that you don't know? Fan Luoyu pouted and ran out with a face full of displeasure. She rolled her eyes at Lin Fei a few times and sat down angrily. Lin Fei picked his ears. Who asked me to be stronger than you? You heard it just now. The Shao family sent a great emperor expert. That is a great emperor expert who can only be called a great emperor after reaching the pinnacle of Transformation 9. I was thinking if I should shake hands with the Shao family and make peace. How dare you? Fan Luoyu shouted. After witnessing Lin Fei's prowess that day, a shadow appeared in Fan Luoyu's heart, which gradually became clearer. Compared to Lin Fei, the geniuses of the empire paled in comparison. There was no comparison. At that time, Fan Luoyu realized that she had fallen in love with Lin Fei. Women all admired experts. Without a doubt, Lin Fei was an expert among experts. Even her father's clone could not take down Lin Fei. Which other elite in the empire could be compared to Lin Fei? Why not? Lin Fei decided to tease Fan Luoyu. I am not related to you and offended the Shao family because of you. But you rolled your eyes at me. Look at Qinlan, how hard-working she is. Fan Luoyu was smart, strong, and a little willful. It was inevitable that she was from the royal family, and it could not be changed in a short period of time. I can't because I am your woman, Fan Luoyu said shyly. How can you give your woman away so easily? It was not easy for her to say something like that. After all, she was a princess. Then why didn't I see it? Chapter 2609. Fan Luoyu dove into Lin Fei's arms shyly. A fragrance wafted into his nose, making Lin Fei restless. Is it because I haven't had a woman by my side for too long that I have such a big reaction? Lin Fei felt the beauty in his arms and kissed Fan Luoyu's lips. Lin Fei, don't! We have just started. Very soon, Fan Luoyu could not speak anymore. All that was left were muffled sounds. As Lin Fei kissed Fan Luoyu, he greedily inhaled her fragrance. He held his waist with one hand while his other hand wandered around, making Fan Luoyu bashful and irritated. This was something unimaginable in the past, when that naughty hand climbed up her breasts through her clothes. Fan Luoyu felt as though she had been electrocuted. Her body trembled and she could only pant. Ninth Princess, I didn't expect you to be so sensitive. You are a masterpiece. Fan Luoyu glared at him. Just call me Luoyu. I'm not like what you said. Lin Fei did not think about Fan Luoyu's identity as the princess of the royal family, nor did he think about the powerful figures from the Shao clan that were about to arrive. He just wanted to devour her. Behind the fake mountain, not far away, Qinlan bit her lips. Little slut, seducing Lin Fei so soon. I knew you were up to no good. In the beginning, Qinlan had a good impression of Lin Fei, but not to the extent of liking him. As she stayed on the Emperor Peak, Lin Fei's image appeared in her mind every day. Qinlan looked down on the sky prides of the demon god empire. Lin Fei was different. Human women worshipped powerful figures, and the demon god empire worshipped them even more passionately. especially for a strong woman like Qianlan, the saintess candidate. The person she liked had to be an invincible, powerful figure. Only then could she conquer them, and not just any ordinary elite. Qianlan had witnessed Lin Fei's powerful performance time and time again. When she saw Lin Fei and Fan Luoyu kissing passionately, Qianlan felt as if something she loved had been snatched away. "Young master, are you there?" Qianlan walked over from afar and looked around as if she was looking for someone. Fan Luoyu was always thin-skinned. She blushed and pushed Lin Fei away, running towards the back of the fake mountain. She did not dare to stay behind to face anyone. "Qianlan, your method of destroying people is really not bad." Who was Lin Fei? Nothing could hide from him. As soon as Qianlan appeared, Lin Fei knew what she was thinking. She wanted nothing more than to destroy his and Fan Luoyu's intimacy. A witch would always be a witch. She would never care about anything. "Young master, how would I dare?" Qianlan said pitifully. "I'm really here to look for young master." Keep pretending, keep pretending. It had to be said that compared to Fan Luoyu, Qianlan was more alluring and charming. "Is that so?" Lin Fei looked at Qianlan with a faint smile. Qianlan did not think that his plan could fool Lin Fei. On Emperor Peak, he was the undisputed king. Being stared at by Lin Fei like that gave him goosebumps. "Young master, I was wrong." "Then come over here." Lin Fei hooked his finger at Qianlan. When Qianlan arrived in front of Lin Fei pulled Qianlan over and pressed her on his thigh. Her plump and perky buttocks were raised. He slapped her buttocks, and Qianlan moaned. "Young master, don't. I won't hit you. I'll let you continue destroying things." A heavy slap landed on her perky buttocks. Qianlan let out a whimper. "Young master, I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again." Lin Fei did not think that Qianlan would admit his mistake. He spanked her plump and perky buttocks over 10 times consecutively. Qianlan kept making whimpers. "Young master, I really know I was wrong. Don't hit me." Her weak begging had a hint of temptation. Lin Fei stopped and was in a great mood. These 2 top-grade ladies each had their own merits. "We'll stop here for today. However, you've ruined my plans. How do you think you're going to make it up to me?" Lin Fei smirked as he looked at Qianlan. "Young master, don't." In the royal palace, the expert from Shao clan had arrived. He was a quasi-great emperor expert. At the same time, he brought along 3 ninth transition job experts and a private army. They were armed to the teeth. Just by standing there, they gave off an immense pressure. Such an appearance made Fan Qingyuan, the first prince, feel pressured. The foundation of an ancient clan was truly unimaginable. Although the Expeditionary Empire's foundation was not bad, it was still lacking compared to an ancient clan. This would require time to make up for. In order to welcome this quasi-great emperor expert from Shao clan, the royal clan also sent an uncle from the royal clan's elder group to welcome them. It could be considered as giving them enough face. If news of this spread, they would lose their limelight. After a round of pleasantries, the group of people from Shao clan was arranged to rest in a side hall. Shao clan's private army rapidly secured the side hall, both inside and outside. The royal clan did not say anything and summoned them back, showing great respect. The Expeditionary Empire had no choice but to give face to the ancient clan. "Ninth uncle, I didn't expect you to come." Shao Ran revealed a hint of joy when he saw the person who came. "How can I not come for such a matter? You're the genius of our Shao clan. Your future achievements won't be inferior to uncle's. For such matters, I definitely have to come and seek justice for you. Our Shao clan is not a place that anyone can offend, not even the emperor himself." Shao Dongshui looked at Shao Ran amiably. Shao Ran's branch had a good relationship with Shao Dongshui. Upon hearing that a quasi-great emperor expert was coming, Shao Ran immediately thought of Ninth Uncle. As long as Ninth Uncle was here, things would be easy. He didn't want to work with those old antiques. Thank you, ninth uncle. Xiao Dongshui admired Xiao Ran. If he could marry the daughter of Fan clan, he would definitely be able to improve and reach a whole new realm. Within the clan, he would also have a greater right to speak. This was also the main purpose of Xiao Dongshui's visit. Wait. Xiao Dongshui's expression suddenly sank. He extended his hand and grabbed towards the sky in front of him. With a crackling sound, dozens of black dots fell down, accompanied by traces of sparks. Not good, we're being monitored. Xiao Ran immediately reacted. What a great royal clan, to actually dare to monitor us. Xiao Dongshui was very calm. Xiao Ran, you're mistaken. The royal clan doesn't have the guts to monitor us. These things have been here for a long time. It should be someone else. Xiao Ran suddenly had an idea. Then it must be Lin Fei. Those who were knowledgeable would be able to tell with a glance that these were all technological products that were hidden so well. You're talking about that Lin Fei who has been causing an uproar recently. It is said that he is suspected to be a quasi-great emperor expert. It would be hard for everyone not to know about him. Chapter 2610. The Xiao family had sent a quasi-emperor level expert with a menacing aura. Those who received the news were all the higher-ups and top forces of the empire. Although he didn't know why the Xiao family would fancy the ninth princess, it didn't prevent the Xiao family from getting closer to the royal family. Therefore, everyone was paying attention. As Lin Fei displayed his prowess, some of the surrounding details were dug out. For example, the fact that the ninth princess lived on the Emperor Peak was definitely a sensational event. The Xiao family is looking for trouble. Is the Avengers going to go against the ancient Xiao family? Lin Fei is going to be in trouble. He's too high profile. He can have any woman. But he actually snatched the woman from the Xiao family. Rumor has it that the 8 ancient families are united. No matter how powerful the Avengers are, they might not be able to fight against them. It was unknown how the news spread. Everyone was in an uproar. The ancient Xiao clan had actually sent an expert over. This was really a big deal. Even under such circumstances, Lin Fei was still living a carefree life. He did not care about the rumors outside. There were no spies around the Emperor Peak. Qiao Qingshan made the decision to get rid of some spies in the college and drive them out. The Emperor Peak maintained absolute silence. Ever since he flirted with Fan Luoyu that day, the relationship between Lin Fei and Fan Luoyu became closer. He would flirt with her from time to time, and Fan Luoyu didn't object. These days, Lin Fei was so happy that he forgot about his duties. This was especially so for Qinlan. Perhaps it was because she was stimulated, so she received all sorts of benefits. Ninth uncle. Lin Fei is on the Emperor Peak of the college. That peak is covered with arrays. Back then, the genius disciples from Tianji Hall came to cause trouble, and even the 5th prince of the royal family was banished. There were many casualties. Xiao Ran accompanied Xiao Dongshui outside the college. There's nothing great about the arrays. It depends on where they're used. Xiao Dongshui said calmly. Xiao Ran flattered. That's true. Ninth uncle is a quasi-great emperor expert, and Lin Fei can't be compared to him. Once ninth uncle makes a move, Lin Fei will be finished. Xiao Dongshui indeed looked down on that Lin Fei. Which one of these quasi-emperor realm experts didn't cultivate painstakingly? How could there be any shortcuts? Otherwise, there wouldn't be so few quasi-emperor realm experts in the entire star field. Let's go in and meet this quasi-great emperor expert, Lin Fei. His tone was filled with contempt and disdain. A great emperor-to-be arrived at the Capital Institute. President Qiao Qingshan came out immediately. This is really troublesome. The moment this quasi-great emperor expert of the Xiao clan arrived, Qiao Qingshan immediately felt a monarch-like pressure. It was extremely uncomfortable, but he still had to endure it. Senior Xiao, what brings you here? Xiao Dongshui was disdainful of everything outside. However, this was the Capital Institute. According to the clan's understanding, there was an expert overseeing the Capital Institute. No one knew what level this expert's strength was at. This kind of top secret was limited to the circle of these top forces. Although Xiao Dongshui was arrogant, he didn't want to make an enemy for the clan. Especially at their level, they naturally wouldn't act recklessly. I've long heard that the Capital Institute is a top-notch place to nurture elites. I never had the time to come before, but I've finally broadened my horizons today. Dean Xiao, I hope you don't mind. Qiao Qingshan knew that the other party was looking for trouble with Lin Fei, but he still had to smile and say, "To have Senior Xiao think so highly of me, I believe that the students of the college will definitely be more focused on cultivation after hearing this." "Ha ha ha." Xiao Dongshui laughed. "Oh right, I heard that your college has a quasi-great emperor expert. This Xiao is here to pay a visit to this quasi-great emperor expert. Dean Xiao, can I trouble you to lead the way?" The way Xiao Dongshui spoke to Dean Xiao was already very polite. If it was someone else in a different place, he wouldn't have spoken like this. He would have just barged in. A quasi-great emperor expert didn't need any reason to look for someone. "Sure, this way, please." Qiao Qingshan didn't think that he could stop Xiao Dongshui. The other party was already polite to him. "Thank you. Ninth uncle, we don't need to be so polite to Qiao Qingshan. This guy is quite close to Lin Fei. Tianji Hall's loss here is more or less related to him." Xiao Ran was very curious about Ninth Uncle's actions. Xiao Ran didn't know much about the expedition to the Empire, as it was limited to the royal family. He had also flipped through some information about the Capital Institute and didn't need much. "Xiao Ran, do you really think the Capital Institute is very ordinary?" "An ordinary dean naturally isn't worthy of your uncle's attention. However, there's a powerful expert in the Institute who is at least a quasi-great emperor expert, or even a true great emperor expert. Our Xiao family is one of the 8 great ancient clans, but there's no need to offend a hidden great emperor." Xiao Ran was shocked. Could it be that old dean? "You know about him too." Xiao Ran had heard of this old dean. He was a very legendary figure, but he didn't know that his strength had reached such a level. He was definitely a hidden expert. "I've heard some rumors. This world is huge, and there are as many experts as there are clouds. The reason why the royal family can't really control the Capital Institute is because there's someone in charge. Even that person has to show some respect. Ninth uncle, if you do this, will that person take action? Your uncle is only here to spar with Lin Fei. At our level, sparring is the most common thing. Even if that person sees us, he won't say much." Xiao Dongshui was very confident. At the foot of Emperor Peak, Xiao Dongshui had arrived. Qiao Qingshan could only stand aside and secretly worry. The Xiao family probably doesn't have the guts to arrest someone in public. This was the Capital Institute. No matter how bold the other party was, they might not dare to cause trouble here. Xiao Dongshui of the Xiao family is here to pay a visit. Xiao Dongshui was very respectful, but his eyes were full of disdain. He didn't really see the other party as a quasi-great emperor expert. He was just a crooked cultivator, and there was nothing to be concerned about. It wouldn't be troublesome to kill someone like that. The voice traveled all the way into the Emperor Peak, but it didn't spread out. No one knew that a quasi-great emperor had come to the Capital Institute, and even to the foot of the Emperor Peak. The Xiao family? I don't know them. Just when Xiao Dongshui thought that the other party would open the door, he heard something unexpected. "Lin Fei, our senior, is here. How dare you be so presumptuous? Open the formation and let us in." Chapter 26:11. On Emperor Peak. Lin Fei knew about him the moment he entered the Capital Institute. How could he not know about such a powerful aura? In the Capital Institute, nobody could hide from Lin Fei. Lin Fei, you really won't let Xiao Dongshui come. Fan Luiyu sat on Lin Fei's lap, obediently with a worried look on her delicate face. Yes, worried. Fan Luiyu might be on Emperor Peak, but news from the royal family was still coming in continuously. Naturally, there would be first-hand information. For example, information on Xiao Dongshui, a quasi-great emperor. The Xiao clan took this matter very seriously. It was worth sending a quasi-great emperor. It's all right. Since he's here, he has to abide by my rules. If I don't invite a quasi-great emperor up, just because he's here, I'll lose face. Lin Fei was not the kind of person who would go up after announcing his name. He had no such intention. Ninth princess, whatever Lin Fei says goes. Even if a quasi-great emperor comes, it's useless. Qinlan took the opportunity to attack. Qinlan was very willing to see someone who could make Fan Luoyu uncomfortable. My little Lan Lan is still the best at talking. Even if Xiao Dongshui is a dragon, he has to stay here. Lin Fei laughed and pulled Qinlan over. Qinlan gloated at Fan Luoyu with her eyes. Lin Fei felt that it was quite interesting to listen to the two beauties bicker every day. Xiao Dongshui, I heard that you're looking for me. What's the big deal about throwing a name? If you're capable, come up yourself. Otherwise, anyone can see me. I'm really going to be busy. Lin Fei chuckled. This Lin Fei. Qiao, Qingshan cheered in his heart. You can flaunt your prowess just because you are a pseudo-great emperor. Lin Fei doesn't give a damn about you. Qiao Qingshan did not like the Xiao clan very much. If not for the old dean, Qiao Qingshan had no doubt that the other party would barge in. Lin Fei's words made Qiao Qingshan feel very comfortable. Ninth uncle, this Lin Fei is too unreasonable. Xiao Ran said coldly, he really thinks that he is a quasi-great emperor expert. Xiao Dongshui's expression did not change much as he pretended to reprimand. Little Ran, don't talk nonsense. After all, he is a quasi-emperor expert. His level is different. Since he wants us to go up, your uncle also wants to see if this Lin Fei's formation-setting ability is as impressive as the rumors say. He had never been asked to look for someone before. Xiao Dongshui really wanted to see what gave the other party the right to be more arrogant than him. If it wasn't for the fact that he had some restraints, he would have directly attacked. Xiao Ran rejoiced in his heart. Uncle is angry. Lin Fei is going to be out of luck. Do you really think that you can block the clone's attack and act so arrogantly in front of our Xiao clan? You will suffer in a while. Xiao Dongshui looked at the Emperor Peak. His eyes suddenly became deep like two black, bottomless pits. The originally fine Emperor Peak turned into black whirlpools in Xiao Dongshui's eyes. The entire Emperor Peak was shrouded by densely packed black whirlpools. The corner of Xiao Dongshui's mouth curled up. Not bad. Swoosh! Xiao Dongshui rushed in. Just a mere formation. Break it for me. The quasi-emperor expert made his move. Xiao Dongshui rushed over like a stream of light. He directly appeared in the Emperor Peak's formation and activated the first formation. An endless gale blew over. Open! Xiao Dongshui punched through the air as though he was in an unstoppable state. The oncoming gale was torn into pieces on the spot. The power of this punch was not limited to just that. As it charged forward, all the formations in its path collapsed one after another. Dozens of formations were destroyed, and not a single one of them could withstand the power of this punch. Ninth uncle mighty. Xiaoren followed. In front of a quasi-emperor expert, the Tao of formation was really nothing. A quasi-emperor expert is really a quasi-emperor expert. This punch is almost 1/10 of the energy unit. Lin Fei could see the formations collapsing continuously. These formations could be used to deal with ordinary people, but against experts of Xiao Dongshui's level, the effect was not outstanding. Is this the strength of a quasi-emperor? Lin Fei created a canopy so that he could see the changes in the formations. Be it Fan Luoyu or Qin Lan, both of them revealed a look of fear. They knew how powerful the formations set up on the Emperor Peak were, but they did not expect the other party to tear them apart so easily. He held back and did not go all out. Lin Fei said with a smile, "Aren't you worried?" Fan Luoyu had a tinge of worry. What's there to worry about? Xiao Dongshui used violent means to crush his way up. Everywhere he passed, the formations collapsed one by one. The Emperor Peak, that was originally shrouded in white mist, gradually revealed its true appearance. This was the formation starting to lose its shroud. A mediocre formation. How disappointing. Xiao Dongshui charged up. Any formation could be destroyed with a single punch. When he reached the center, the formation's power began to increase. Earth, wind, fire, and water came over majestically, and the power instantly increased by dozens of times. This is not bad. Xiao Dongshui did not know how to break the formation, but he knew violent means. With the strength of a quasi-emperor, he could find a flaw in the formation and use violent means to break it. He did not even give the formation a chance to be triggered. In the blink of an eye, he was close to the Emperor Peak. Suppress. Seeing that he was about to reach the Emperor Peak, the last formation was a huge virtual shadow, which was very similar to Lin Fei. It waved its saber and attacked, and the saber river covered the sky. Xiao Dongshui blasted a punch over calmly without any fear, and his body moved violently. Just a virtual shadow. How dare you be so presumptuous? The long saber river was shattered, and Xiao Dongshui pointed at the virtual shadow. The huge virtual shadow collapsed, and the whiteness in front of him disappeared. A quasi-emperor is a quasi-emperor indeed. Welcome to my Emperor Peak. After the white mist dispersed, a pavilion appeared. Lin Fei sat under the pavilion and drank tea leisurely. Behind him, Qin Lan was massaging his shoulders, and Fan Luoyu was feeding him fruits. He had the style of a rich playboy. Xiao Dongshui squinted his eyes. Although he did not care about Lin Fei, he could not help but feel envious when he saw Lin Fei's age. At Xiao Dongshui's age, it was impossible for him to launch a quasi-emperor level attack. He did not even dare to think about it. The Lin Fei in front of him, with the help of some technological treasure, could definitely make a name for himself, and he might even be invincible below the quasi-emperor level. Chapter 2612. Lin Fei was not surprised at all that an expert like Xiao Dongshui had come up. Using a formation to deal with a quasi-great emperor expert was too inferior. It was child's play, and he would be laughed at if word got out. A woman from the Xiao clan. These words made Lin Fei unhappy. Even if he was a quasi-great emperor expert in the eyes of outsiders, Lin Fei's character was still so free and easy, and he would not be affected by this. Someone like him can become the man of the 9th princess. Lin Fei pointed at Xiao Ran, who was coming up, and boundless energy shot out. Xiao Ran had just come in, and before he could understand what was going on, a terrifying aura attacked him. He reacted quickly and put up a shield in front of him. Kacha! The power of a casual finger from Lin Fei was so terrifying. The shield exploded on the spot, and Xiao Ran screamed in pain as he fell into the clouds. As expected, he can't. Fan Lu, who was at the side, could not help but laugh. He actually dared to make a move. The finger was too fast. Before Xiao Dongshui could react, Xiao Ran, who had come up, was sent flying. When he came back to his senses, the battle was over. Lin Fei, how dare you make a move? Xiao Dongshui slammed his palm on the table, and in an instant the table broke into pieces. An ocean-like pressure pressed down on the spot, sweeping towards Lin Fei, who bore the brunt of the attack. Ha 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 ha! Lin Fei laughed loudly, and an invisible shield blocked in front of him, blocking the opponent's pressure. The 9th princess is the daughter of the royal family and her status is noble. Her man is naturally the strongest, the most powerful. The Xiao Ran you speak of, he can't even take a casual attack from me. And he has the nerve to come out and embarrass himself. Lin Fei countered the other party forcefully. Xiao Dongshui's casual outburst was actually a test. Xiao Ran was naturally angry that he had been sent flying. However, he was not worried. Even if Xiao Ran was 100 times more courageous, he would not dare to kill someone from the Xiao clan. Don't you think this is bullying the weak? Xiao Dongshui stared at Lin Fei. Did I? Lin Fei smiled. Why don't I feel that way? I knew it. The one with the bigger fist is the one in the right. Could it be that after I beat up the little one, the big one came out and wants to talk to me? Xiao Dongshui finally saw Lin Fei's arrogance. He was a quasi-great emperor expert of the Xiao clan. He represented the ancient Xiao clan. Even the imperial family had to be polite to him. Lin Fei was definitely a thorn in his side. He was planning to openly challenge the authority of the Xiao clan. You're arrogant, truly arrogant. Xiao Dongshui narrowed his eyes. Could it be that you're not afraid of completely offending the Xiao clan? As long as I spread the news today, you will become the Xiao family's enemy. You will have to face the entire Xiao family. Although you have the Avengers behind you, and even Tianji Hall was humiliated by you, in front of the Xiao family, you and the Avengers behind you are still not enough. Do you believe me? Can I interpret this as a threat? Lin Fei said with a faint smile. Xiao Dongshui wasn't afraid that Lin Fei wouldn't give in. That depends on how you interpret it, Xiao Dongshui said. If you hand over the 9th princess today, I can pretend that nothing happened when you injured Xiao Ran just now. You can even obtain the friendship of the Xiao clan. From now on, in the ancient wasteland world, you can obtain the help of the Xiao clan. It won't be difficult for us to help you deal with Tianji Hall. Fan Liu, who was at the side, tugged at Lin Fei nervously. In front of a quasi-great emperor expert, even Fan Liu couldn't handle the traces of pressure. Lin Fei gently patted Fan Luoyu's hand. The traces of pressure were shattered. A vacuum was formed around them, and they were no longer affected. Lin Fei leaned forward. Senior Xiao, your conditions are really tempting. How many people can't obtain the friendship of the Xiao clan in their lifetime? I'm tempted just by hearing it. Xiao Dongshui's lips curled up. Of course, the friendship of the Xiao clan. How many people can only dream of it? I was wondering how tough Lin Fei would be. I didn't expect him to fall apart the moment he mentioned the Xiao clan. Xiao Dongshui sneered in his heart. This was too disappointing. Lin Fei suddenly shook his head. Unfortunately, I've taken a liking to the 9th princess. Even if the Emperor of Heaven comes, it'll be the same. She's mine, and no one can take her away. Xiao Dongshui was stunned. He actually refused. Doesn't he know that he's completely making an enemy out of the Xiao clan? Do you know what the result will be? Xiao Dongshui's face darkened. Isn't it just a big fight? Lin Fei ignored the other party's expression and said, I, Lin, am not afraid of anything. The 9th princess is my woman. That Xiao Ran of your Xiao clan can step aside. If he appears in front of me again, he will die for sure. Even if the emperor comes, it will be useless. Facing Lin Fei's domineering words, Fan Luoyu's eyes sparkled with Jingguang. This is my man, fearless. Xiao Dongshui was very clear about the 9th princess's importance to Xiao Ran. Now that someone had gotten to her first, it was fortunate that she was still a virgin. This trip was not in vain. The negotiation had broken down. It was time to use the second method. Snatch. Then face the Xiao clan's revenge. Xiao Dongshui's eyes gleamed coldly as he slapped his palm towards Lin Fei, setting off a monstrous force. No one expected Xiao Dongshui to really make a move. Once a great emperor expert made a move, the momentum was completely different. Qiao Qingshan, who was standing far away, could not help but change his expression. This is too presumptuous. The Shao clan really dares to make a move here. Lin Fei pulled Fan Luoyu behind him and raised his palm to meet the attack. He mobilized 1/10 of his energy, not daring to have any fear. Pum! When the two palms collided, a huge wave of air rose and the surroundings were razed to the ground in the blink of an eye. Qiao Qingshan and the rest, who were far behind, were also sent flying by the wave of air. They only managed to stabilize themselves after much difficulty. Cough, cough, cough. The original position had become an empty space. It was a complete mess. Xiao Dongshui stood with his hands behind his back. I knew it. Your strength is not at the level of a great emperor. Lin Fei retreated over 10 steps, with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. Lin Fei, how are you? Don't scare me. Fan Luoyu's eyes were red. Silly girl. Even if there were 100 of him, he wouldn't be able to stop me. Lin Fei wiped away the blood. You are indeed very strong, but have you forgotten where this place is? Suppress. Lin Fei waved his hand, and the vast and boundless heaven and earth spiritual energy in the entire cultivation ground surged over. The sky prides who were cultivating were all startled awake. This was because they could no longer absorb the heaven and earth spiritual energy. All of it had been plundered. What's happening? Why can't I absorb any heaven and earth spiritual energy? Whirlpool, such a huge whirlpool. Spiritual energy river. Oh my God, this is crazy. The sky prides ran out one by one and were completely dumbfounded to see this scene. Who did this? Are we even allowed to cultivate? This is crazy. Someone immediately realized that the spiritual energy river was heading in a direction. It seems to be heading to the Emperor Peak. Ah, could this be Lin Fei's doing? No one made a sound. Chapter 26:13. The vast heaven and earth spiritual energy was mobilized. The cultivation ground of Imperial College was in chaos. No one could cultivate anymore. All the heaven and earth spiritual energy was plundered, and everyone could only watch helplessly. Comparisons were odious indeed. Suppress. These two words left Lin Fei's mouth. Xiao Dongshui's expression changed again, and he immediately thought of something. He wants to use formations? How is that possible? Those formations? Oh no! A vast amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy surged above Emperor Peak. The heaven and earth spiritual energy seemed to be controlled, and it pressed down mightily, transforming into a giant hand that pressed down on Xiao Dongshui. Crack! Crack! Lin Fei mobilized 80% of the heaven and earth spiritual energy in the cultivation ground. 80% of the heaven and earth spiritual energy was terrifying enough to frighten anyone. The giant hand of heaven and earth spiritual energy pressed down, just like that. Xiao Dongshui felt an immense pressure and a dangerous aura, and his entire body was shrouded by a terrifying force. Is this your backup move? Watch how I break it. Xiao Dongshui calmed down, and the aura of a quasi-great emperor soared into the sky. He forcefully resisted the giant hand, and with a punch, the heaven and earth spiritual energy collapsed. A quasi-great emperor was indeed a quasi-great emperor. The power of a punch almost blasted the giant hand apart. However, Lin Fei mobilized a vast amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy and continuously injected it. The giant hand attacked again, and as it got closer and closer, the ground began to crack. It was a ghastly sight to behold. Xiao Dongshui's punch failed, so he punched again. The fist radiance soared into the sky, shattering the heaven and earth spiritual energy. One punch after another, he punched a total of 8 times. An all-out attack. Lin Fei's expression changed slightly. A vast amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy was instantly injected, and the dragon disappeared. Only the palm was left in the world. Come on, let me see how powerful your final attack can be. Xiao Dongshui grabbed with one hand, and a long saber landed in his hand. He slashed the saber in the air, and the saber radiance shot out, slashing at the giant hand. Everyone retreated far away. They could only see the giant hand and a dazzling saber radiance. They could still feel the sharp aura from far away. Is this the power of a pseudo-great emperor? Xiao Qingshan was still one step away, once again experiencing the strength of a quasi-great emperor. A sense of helplessness arose in him. The difference of one step was like the difference between heaven and earth. If I don't become a quasi-great emperor, I will always be an ant. There was a loud noise. Huge waves of air surged in all directions. Wherever the airwave passed by, the grass and trees were destroyed, turning the place into ruins. The huge monarch peak looked like it had been cleaned up. It was in a sorry state. Did you win? Xiao Qingshan was the most anxious. He couldn't understand why Lin Fei didn't make a move directly. Instead, he mobilized the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. Could it be that he really used a technological treasure? This doubt kept reverberating in his heart. In the center of the ruins, Xiao Dongshui had left his original position. His body was swaying slightly, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Your formation skills are indeed unparalleled. You almost succeeded. Xiao Dongshui looked solemn. Xiao Dongshui had a hard time dealing with the last attack, just now. It was as if he was facing a super expert. If it was a 9th transformation professional expert, he would definitely die. You're more powerful than I thought. Lin Fei was very calm. Xiao Dongshui sneered. You're also more powerful than I thought. Today, you're destined to be unable to stop me from taking the 9th princess away. What other trump cards do you have? Take them out now. Lin Fei spread his hands. Actually, there's really nothing I can do to stop you. However, there's someone who won't let you take the 9th princess away. Old Dean, don't you think so? Lin Fei said the last sentence as he looked towards a certain direction. Old Dean? Xiao Dongshui's heart sank. If it was true, then it would be troublesome. We'll talk after we snatch it. It didn't matter if it was true or not. Xiao Dongshui grabbed the 9th princess with one hand. He would bring her back before anything else. As for this Lin Fei, he would deal with him when he had the time next time. He wouldn't be able to turn the tables. With this move, Fan Luoyu felt shrouded by a huge force. She flew over involuntarily, and her expression changed in fear. Xiao Dongshui, who allowed you to capture people here? A cold snort came from the void. Xiao Dongshui's grab was repelled on the spot. His expression changed. Old Dean, are you going to interfere too? Scram! A palm reached out from the void and struck at Xiao Dongshui. Old Dean, don't pretend to be a god. Before he could finish, a palm came from the void and landed on Xiao Dongshui's body. He was sent flying, and the void behind him exploded as he fell into the void. If there's a next time, I'll kill without mercy. A cold voice rushed over. Xiao Dongshui, who fell into the void, let out a low grunt. His face turned pale, and he spat out blood. He didn't dare to stay any longer and turned to leave, filled with fear. Old Dean has made his move, Xiao Qingshan said happily. In the Capital Institute, the only one who could defeat Xiao Dongshui was Old Dean. Old Dean's strength is even more unfathomable than before. To be able to render a quasi-great emperor powerhouse helpless, Old Dean's strength was obviously above the other parties, and the distance was not small. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so easy. Lin Fei, are you all right? Xiao Qingshan came over immediately and asked. Currently, the Capital Institute was cooperating with the Avengers. As the key person, Lin Fei couldn't be in trouble at this time. I'm fine. Thank you for your concern, Old Dean Xiao. Did this kid really borrow the help of technological treasures? In the depths of the void, Old Dean looked puzzled. Or did this kid wait for me to make a move on purpose? Old Dean had known since Xiao Dongshui's arrival, but he didn't say anything. After all, he had to give face to the ancient Xiao family. Everything that happened afterward was beyond imagination. Old Dean had no choice but to make a move. After making a move, all sorts of doubts surrounded Old Dean's mind. This kid must have noticed something and deliberately asked me to make a move. What a shameless guy. Old Dean was very smart and quickly understood some of the details. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. Even the old man was included in the scheme. The people from the Avengers are really not simple. That's right, he had been included in the scheme. Old Dean wasn't angry. From the moment he chose to cooperate with the Avengers, he knew that this day would come sooner or later. Looks like I have to find some time to have a good chat with this kid. He actually dared to include the old man in the scheme. Master, this old Dean is very, very strong. The little devil's voice reverberated in Lin Fei's mind. Lin Fei was also testing Ol Amos. He sighed and said, Actually, I didn't expect Ol Amos to be this powerful either. You sent Xiao Dongshui, a quasi-great emperor, flying with a single palm strike. If that palm strike was used against me, I'd probably have to use 40 to 50% of my energy units to block it. Chapter 26:14. Xiao family returned without success. Xiao Ran returned with injuries. When he heard that even ninth uncle was injured, his eyes widened. He can't possibly have such strength. In a side hall of the palace, Xiao Ran wouldn't believe it was true. Indeed, it wasn't Lin Fei who injured uncle. It was the dean. I didn't expect him to be so strong. No wonder that person from Fan family was so polite. Xiao Dongshui coughed and spat out blood. With Lin Fei before and the dean behind, Xiao Dongshui lost unjustly. Dean. Xiao Ran had heard of this person. He was rumored to be the most mysterious person in the Capital Institute. Isn't he from the Empire? Why is he willing to help Lin Fei? Xiao Dongshui said faintly, benefits. When there are benefits, even enemies can work together. Xiao Ran immediately knew the reason for the dean's help. His expression changed. What a powerful guy. He knows to let the dean do the work while he reaps the benefits. Xiao Dongshui had underestimated Lin Fei and the dean. We have to think about this carefully. The dean helped Lin Fei. Xiao Dongshui couldn't do anything. I really can't accept this. Xiao Ran was shocked. He never thought that he would lose to a guy of unknown origin. Xiao Dongshui lifted his head and looked at Xiao Ran. If you're unwilling, then just endure it. This isn't our Xiao family's territory. Offending the Fan family isn't something our Xiao family wishes to see. As for the matter of the ninth princess, you can put it aside. Although this matter will have a great impact on you, unless Lin Fei leaves Emperor Phoenix Peak or the ninth princess returns to the imperial palace. Xiao Ran's face was gloomy. The ninth princess was too important to him. The ninth princess was of utmost importance to him in the future. For this matter, Xiao Ran had put in a lot of effort and used the family's resources, but he still lost in the end. Uncle, we still have hope. Xiao Ran said, Lin Fei isn't a threat. It's not impossible to make the ninth princess return to the palace. Xiao Dongshui knew that Xiao Ran was good at scheming. He wanted to hear the plan. Tell me. Xiao Ran briefly explained his plan. He even set up a soundproof array to prevent others from eavesdropping. Uncle, how about this? Xiao Dongshui looked at Xiao Ran approvingly. Have you really decided? I decided, Xiao Ran said resolutely. All right, Uncle will help you again. Xiao Dongshui laughed heartily. Our Xiao family has taken a liking to the Fan family's princess. Not just anyone can snatch her away. What happened on Emperor Peak was soon over. Almost no one knew exactly what had happened. After that battle, Lin Fei went into closed-door cultivation for about 7 to 8 days. In the eyes of people like Qiao Qingshan, he naturally thought that it was a closed-door cultivation to heal his injuries. During the few days that Lin Fei was in seclusion, Qiao Qingshan did not stay idle. He set up the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce, and his actions were abnormally fast. How is it? Not bad, right? When Lin Fei came out of seclusion, Qiao Qingshan dragged Lin Fei to the scene. All right. The Xiao family's actions also made Lin Fei realize that he had to do his best to earn more energy units. Just Xiao Dongshui alone was not easy to deal with. He had to crush the other party with 10 or even 100 times more energy. That's good. I'm still waiting for the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce to open for business. Lin Fei thought for a moment. How about this? We can hold the first auction 7 days later. Dean, you can advertise it to the public. At that time, I will send out 18 invitation letters. Qiao Qingshan was overjoyed after hearing this. Lin Fei really knows how to do things. Wasn't the reason why he dragged you here in such a hurry so that the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce could be held as soon as possible? Give me the invitation letters. Lin Fei smiled and said, We are partners. Without the old dean's help previously, I would probably have to run away. You guys are more familiar with the situation than me. Those forces can come. If you don't help me, who will? After flattering Qiao Qingshan a little, Qiao Qingshan was so happy that he immediately accepted it. It was just 18 invitation letters. It was a small matter. It's a good deal. After Lin Fei left, Qiao Qingshan recovered from his joy and scolded Lin Fei. That bastard is really cunning. Does he want us to run errands for him? After hearing this, the old dean chuckled. You fell for it. That kid is cunning. Our school is tied to the forces behind him. The Capital Institute quickly took action. The branch of the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce would hold its first auction, and the Chamber of Commerce would officially open for business. As soon as the news spread, all the star domains under the empire were excited, especially the domain lords. The major forces had long been jealous of the technological treasures of the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce. They couldn't wait to buy a large batch of them and arm their own forces. The 18 invitation letters were also exposed. When they heard that Qiao Qingshan was going to select the 18 auctioneers, the Capital Institute immediately became lively. Everyone rushed to Qiao Qingshan, whether they knew him or not. They all came knocking on his door. That kid is too evil. Qiao Qingshan's head hurt. He really didn't know what to do at that moment. Brother Fei, you're too evil. Fan Luoyu covered her mouth and giggled. Dean Xiao must have scolded you. Although she didn't go out, Fan Luoyu knew that Qiao Qingshan was both in pain and happiness. Lin Fei said seriously, We're partners. This is the Capital Institute, and his influence is much greater than ours. If the dean doesn't do it, do you think I'll do it? Who cares about me? Vulgar. Fan Luoyu rolled her eyes. You're a quasi-great emperor after all. Hee hee. Lin Fei smirked. Qinlan came over with a plate of fruits and took the initiative to feed him. She ignored Fan Luoyu's murderous gaze. Brother Lin, when are you going to the Demon God Empire to set up a Vengeance Chamber of Commerce? As the saintest candidate of the empire, Qinlan really hoped that Lin Fei would set up a Vengeance Chamber of Commerce. If this went on, the Demon God Empire would definitely weaken. In the future, the Demon God Empire might not even exist anymore. This worried Qinlan. Why should Brother Fei set up a Vengeance Chamber of Commerce in the Demon God Empire? Fan Luoyu shot back. If your empire can have one, why can't our Demon God Empire have one? Qinlan wasn't afraid of Fan Luoyu at all. She held her head high and puffed out her chest. This empress said that there can't be any. Brother Lin set one up. Qinlan tugged at Lin Fei's hand and acted coquettishly. Despicable. Fan Luoyu sneered. Who's despicable? Qinlan glared at her. You're the despicable one. Who's shameless enough to seduce Brother Lin? How dare you say I'm despicable? Lin Fei was speechless. All right, stop arguing. Lin Fei pretended to berate. The two turned their faces away and snorted, not looking at each other. The weather's so nice. I should go for a walk too. Just when the two girls thought that Lin Fei was going to say something, Lin Fei stood up and swaggered away, leaving them with only his back view. It's all your fault. It's you, not me. Chapter 26:15. The establishment of the branch of the Avengers Chamber of Commerce in the Capital College had caused quite a commotion. Soon, everyone knew about the Capital College. Even more people were shocked by the Avengers' ability to cooperate with the Capital College and establish a branch of the Avengers Chamber of Commerce in the Capital College. It was impossible that they did not cooperate. Some people also thought of the royal family behind the Capital College. Could it be that the royal family had secretly cooperated with the Avengers Chamber of Commerce? Everyone was shocked and frightened by all these speculations. If the royal family really cooperated with the Avengers, no one would be able to shake the royal family in the future. This made many people's hearts sink. Your Highness, we think we have to bring things forward. In the fifth prince's residence, Fan Qinglong was meeting with a mysterious person in a secret chamber. Didn't you say that we have to prepare? Why is it so rushed? Fan Qinglong's expression was not good. Are you making fun of me? The newcomer was dressed in a black cloak that covered his entire body, making it impossible to tell who he was. Your Highness, there's nothing we can do about it. The cloaked person's voice was so low that even people familiar with him would not be able to tell. It's all that Lin Fei's fault. In a few days, the branch of the Avengers Chamber of Commerce will be opened to the public. The 18 invitations have caused quite a stir. We have to speed things up. Lin Fei! Fan Qinglong's expression was filled with resentment. This name was like a nightmare, constantly provoking Fan Qinglong. Ever since he had suffered at the hands of the Emperor's Peak, Fan Qinglong had not been in a good mood. He had thought that the Shao family could deal with Lin Fei, but they had been defeated and even alarmed the old president. That day he had smashed many things and was furious. Now that the branch of the Avengers Chamber of Commerce was about to be opened to the public, and it would be built within the Capital College, Fan Qinglong could only watch. He did not have the influence to interfere with the Capital College. Yes, it's Lin Fei. The cloaked person also had a murderous intent. Lin Fei has set a bad precedent in the Capital College. When the Avengers Chamber of Commerce opens to the public, what do you think the Empire will be like in the future? Your Highness. Even though Fan Qinglong knew that there was something wrong with the other party's words, he was still provoked. In the future, Fan Qinglong's expression became even more gloomy. My big brother is now very close to that brat Lin Fei. In addition to that, he has a technological army under his control. His influence is growing day by day. Furthermore, when the Chamber of Commerce opens, the entire empire will control the lifeline of the Avengers Alliance. This is not something that I want to see. The more Fan Qinglong thought about it, the more afraid he became. In fact, it was true. Very scared. Fan Qinglong felt that Lin Fei was his nightmare. Ever since he appeared, he had never had a good time. Your Highness, those territory lords that you've contacted aren't good people. Once the Vengeance Chamber of Commerce's technology rises, they might be shaken very quickly. This will be very disadvantageous to Your Highness, Fan Qinglong said in a deep voice. All right then, this Emperor agrees. Your Highness, you will definitely be happy to cooperate with us. The huge empire will eventually fall into your hands. As for those who are unconvinced, just suppress them all. The cloaked man said with a hint of excitement. How do you plan to deal with my father? Fan Qinglong asked. That father of mine isn't that easy to deal with. Don't end up with nothing. Your Highness, don't worry, the cloaked man said. If we dare to contact you, then a great emperor is nothing. Among the great emperors, your father isn't very strong. Lin Fei didn't know that because the Avengers Alliance was established in the Capital Institute, it would attract unimaginable repercussions. That night, Lin Fei went to look for Qinlan. "You're finally willing to look for me." Qinlan leaned against the door with a resentful expression and looked at Lin Fei outside. Lin Fei shuddered. No matter how he looked at it, there was something wrong with her expression. She looked like a resentful wife. Without waiting for Lin Fei to say anything, Qinlan pulled Lin Fei and entered Qinlan's room. The moment they entered the room, Qinlan pressed Lin Fei down on the bed. A fragrant scent wafted into his nose. "You only know how to accompany that princess. Don't you feel that it's especially exciting? It gives you a sense of accomplishment." Qinlan looked at Lin Fei faintly. The tip of her nose was almost touching his. The scene was simply too erotic. Lin Fei also noticed something else. Qinlan seemed to have specially dressed up tonight. She was wearing a set of clothes that were faintly discernible, and she exuded a hazy beauty. For a man, it was rather exciting. Most importantly, Qinlan was a saintess in waiting, the demoness of the demon god empire. What a seductive vixen! Lin Fei didn't move. The more he moved, the more awkward it would be. "It's all the same," Lin Fei said very seriously. "You men just love to lie." Qinlan rolled her eyes. "It's obvious that you like the 9th princess. Otherwise, why didn't you come to see me?" Lin Fei didn't know how to answer this question. "I'm busy." Lin Fei thought of an excuse. "As you know, as the host of the Avengers, there are a lot of things waiting for me." "Humph." Qinlan was skeptical. "Then why did you come here tonight? Don't tell me you missed me." Qinlan chuckled. Lin Fei felt a little restless being pressed down by such a soft beauty. "Actually, I really missed you. Otherwise, why would I come here? You know that I never lie." Qinlan had always wanted to take a step closer to Lin Fei. She felt that it was a gradual process. As Lin Fei stood in a high position, and his strength had even reached the quasi-emperor realm, he was definitely a true genius. Even the geniuses of the demon god empire couldn't be compared to him. Lin Fei said seriously. Those who didn't know would really be fooled. Who was Qinlan? She was the saintess-in-waiting of the demon god empire. How could ordinary women compare to her? "Then should I devote my life to you?" Qinlan exhaled softly. Her eyes stared straight at Lin Fei. She was so seductive that anyone who saw her would be moved. As the saintess-in-waiting of the demon god empire, Qinlan specialized in seduction and teasing. The unique aura of the foreign tribes was fatal to men. No one could resist it. This was also the first time Qinlan had taken the initiative to use it. She felt that a powerful man like Lin Fei should belong to her and not the 9th princess. To the demon race, they would snatch whoever they liked, regardless of who it was. After seeing Lin Fei, Qinlan decided to seduce Lin Fei. "You are forcing me to commit a crime." As soon as Lin Fei finished speaking, Qinlan's upper body was pressed against Lin Fei's chest, moving up and down. Her soft presence was constantly stimulating Lin Fei. Demon. Lin Fei tried his best to control himself. Chapter 26:16. Lin Fei once again experienced the feeling of forcefully pushing. He already had a good impression of Qinlan, so he naturally had a good impression of her. He had wanted to have a good talk with her, but the scene that happened in the end was completely beyond his imagination. Qinlan had forcefully pushed Lin Fei. "Vixen, this vixen. You don't regret it?" After the matter, Qinlan leaned against Lin Fei's chest like a kitten. Lin Fei found it hard to imagine that the current Qinlan was completely different from the previous Qinlan, who was like a wild cat. He could not associate them together. Too wild. Yes, when they were together, Lin Fei only had the impression of wild. Why should I regret it? Qinlan's face was flushed, and she looked very dazed. "We demon race women only like men who are stronger than us, and you are such a strong man. No matter where you stand, you are like a ray of light in the dark night, constantly attracting us. I, Qinlan, am not like Fan Luoyu. We dare to love and hate. Qinlan was undoubtedly very bold. Unusually bold. Lin Fei laughed bitterly. If I had known, I would have guarded against you. Qinlan giggled. Brother Lin, you can't guard against me. As long as we demon race women like someone, no matter who it is, we will try our best to capture the man, no matter how much we guard against him. There will always be a day when we fail. This conclusion, Lin Fei could not help but be impressed. Demon women were indeed daring to love and hate. This feeling was actually quite good. Lin Fei enjoyed this feeling that he had not felt for a long time. With your forceful push, I will probably have another problem. Lin Fei felt good for a while, but the trouble after this would not be small. The saintest candidate of the demon god empire has a relationship with a human lad like me. If they find out, they will definitely kill their way here. Qinlan burst into laughter and rolled her eyes. Master, you're thinking too much. Who are you? You're now the manager of the Vengeance's Chamber of Commerce, and you're also a quasi-emperor expert. Our demon god empire will never make a strong enemy. Really? Fan Luoyu alone had caused quite a lot of trouble. If something were to happen to Qinlan, Lin Fei would definitely have a headache. Brother Lin, how would I dare to lie to you? It's not like our saint-in-waiting can't find a man. Besides, the man in my family is the strongest. None of the prodigies in the empire would dare to compete with Brother Lin. You really know how to talk. Lin Fei was just thinking about it out of boredom. Trouble was just that. What was there to be afraid of? Really? Qinlan said charmingly. Then why do I feel that Brother Lin likes the 9th princess more? Lin Fei was speechless. Women were all the same. Regardless of where they came from, they would all get jealous. Of course, he likes Lan Lan a lot, Lin Fei said seriously. Qinlan snorted. I know you're just brushing me off. How could you say that? You men are all the same. Otherwise, why would you be willing to open a business association in the empire? You've obviously been bewitched by the 9th princess. Lin Fei laughed and hugged Qinlan. I can't decide where the business association will be opened. After all, it's an order from above. I can only follow it. However, on account of little Lanlan's effort just now, I can contact my people and provide you with technological treasures. A batch? Qinlan was a smart woman. The expeditionary empire was getting stronger, and the demon god empire was the only unlucky one. The difference in strength between the two parties would only get bigger, and sooner or later, the expeditionary empire would crush the demon god empire. Lin Fei smirked. That depends on our little Lanlan's attitude. Qinlan rolled her eyes. Brother Lin, you're so bad. You only know how to torture people. That night, Lin Fei stayed in Qinlan's room. When he came out the next day, Lin Fei felt refreshed, but Qinlan did not come out. A vixen is a vixen. I almost couldn't take it. Lin Fei reminisced as he walked. The expeditionary empire getting stronger was naturally not what Lin Fei wanted to see. Therefore, the demon god empire had to get stronger too. However, it could not be done openly. Qinlan, the saintess in training, became the best partner. As for whether she really liked him, Lin Fei could not be sure. Vixen, vixen. The word vixen could actually explain many things. Qinlan is really a beauty in bed. Princess, something bad has happened. Lin Fei returned to his residence, leisurely. On the other side, a maidservant came to Fan Luoyu in a hurry. What happened? Fan Luoyu was curious. Her maidservant was not like this, usually. This was the Emperor Peak, and Fan Luoyu did not believe that anything bad would happen. The people from the Xiao family still went out in the end, and they still could not do anything to Lin Fei. In the entire empire, apart from the palace, there was no safer place than here. Princess, that be *TCH, seduced Lord Lin Fei last night. I saw Lin Fei coming out of that be TCH's room early in the morning, just now. The maidservant said carefully, ever since the previous battle, Fan Liu had completely fallen in love with Lin Fei. He was the true hero and powerhouse in her heart. It was a position that many geniuses could not reach in their lifetime. Qinlan, you be *TCH. Fan Liu was instantly enraged. Ever since she found out about Qinlan's identity and that she was staying on the Emperor Peak, Fan Liu had realized that this be *TCH would be her biggest competitor. Usually, Fan Liu would not give Qinlan a chance to get close to Lin Fei. Despite all her precautions, she still could not stop the be *TCH. Now, the scene that she was most unwilling to see had happened. Fan Liu could easily imagine the smile of victory on the be *TCH's face. Come, let's go find Qinlan. Fan Liu really wanted to argue with Qinlan. She had just stood up when she frowned and sat down again. No. If I go like this, I'll be at an even greater disadvantage. That be *TCH must be laughing at me. Fan Liu calmed down at the crucial moment. Intelligent women were the scariest when they were at their coolest, especially someone like Fan Liu, who came from the royal family. The Avengers' Chamber of Commerce must be opening soon. As the Demon God Empire's Saintess candidate, Qinlan couldn't sit still and seduced Lin Fei. She wants to take another shortcut. Qinlan is dreaming. Who do you think Lin Fei is? He definitely won't cooperate with the Demon God Empire. As the Empire's Saintess candidate, she can't control herself and seduce a man one day. Fan Liu was indeed very intelligent. She had figured out the cause and effect in such a short time. The vixen is so slutty. As time passes, she might really persuade Brother Fei. I want him too. A hint of determination flashed across Fan Liu's eyes. Lin Fei is mine. No one can take him away from me. Chapter 26:17. After that, step of contact. Qinlan snuck into Lin Fei's room for the first few nights and did it with him, only returning early in the morning. Lin Fei was having too much fun these few days, slowly enjoying Qinlan's beauty. Compared to Fan Liu, who had a bit of a temper, Qinlan was more approachable. This situation persisted for a few days. The day of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce's business came, interrupting Lin Fei's leisure time. No matter how lazy he was, he could not be lazy now. With the Capital Institute's terrifying influence, the 18 invitations were sold at a high price. They even owed the Institute a favor, which was not easy to repay. With the Ancient Wasteland World's auction, the Capital Institute's auction was also irresistible. Whoever gets their hands on the technological treasure first will have the greater right to speak. On the day of the auction, Lin Fei attended. As the person in charge of the mysterious Avengers, Lin Fei attracted attention no matter where he went. As the news about Lin Fei spread, everyone was pleasantly surprised. The Empire's domain lords came. In particular, the domain lord of the Tsanglong domain lord was very enthusiastic, leaving the other domain lords to stare at him. Lin Fei appeared for a while, then disappeared. Lin Fei left the auction to Qiao Qingshan. He was now a typical hands-off shopkeeper. Good stuff, really good stuff. It's the same quality as last time. It's really a top-grade treasure. No one can stop the tide of the technological storm. In the auction hall, the bidding was very intense. It could be said that the owners of the 18 invitations had brought along a large number of wall stones, all eyeing the technological treasure. This time they did not team up. No one would be a fool to help others and strengthen them. The bidding was unusually intense. As the host, Qiao Qingshan also went all out. Looking at the rising price, he was grinning from ear to ear. Lin Fei really knows how to slack off, but I like this kind of slacking off. Qiao Qingshan had always wanted to improve Imperial College. Now he had finally done it. As long as the Revenge Chamber of Commerce existed, the Capital Institute would become a force that no one could ignore. At the same time, the Capital Institute would truly become a special existence. On the Emperor Peak, Lin Fei was not worried about today's auction. As long as people came, no one could resist the temptation of technological treasures. Qinlan, Lin Fei called out casually, but no one came. He smiled bitterly. I almost forgot that Qinlan has secretly returned to the Demon God Empire. Lin Fei wanted to earn some money from the Expeditionary Empire, but he also didn't want to let go of the Demon God Empire. As long as Qinlan conveyed his intentions, he believed that the cooperation would begin very soon. The battle between the Expeditionary Empire and the Demon God Empire was none of Lin Fei's business. Am I too bad? Lin Fei asked himself in his heart. He was no different from an arms dealer. Master, your enemies are getting stronger and stronger. You have to accumulate enough energy units. Otherwise, 2 or 3 quasi-great emperors would be too much for you to handle. You might even have to flee. The little demon reminded him. This was something that Lin Fei himself was well aware of. No matter what happens outside, I have to set my sights on the ancient wasteland world if I want to obtain more energy units. That's the place to truly increase my confidence. Outside, no matter what happened, it wouldn't be good. Most of the resources here came from the ancient wasteland world. For example, a tribe that was supported could produce hundreds of thousands of stones. What would the scale of 10 or 20 be like? And this was just a small mine. A mine that produced a few million stones was not unheard of in the ancient wasteland world. The auction and the sale of technological treasures were very popular that day. No matter who it was, everyone who came to the Revenge Chamber of Commerce was well behaved. When they left, they were all extremely excited. That night, Qiao Qingshan held a celebration party. Lin Fei attended once again. Today's auction and turnover were very high, especially technological treasures. With and without comparison, the outcome was completely different. The cultivators who had liked the treasures of Tianji Hall immediately gave up on the treasures of Tianji Hall and turned to the Avenger Chamber of Commerce. Cheap, useful, that was their experience. They might not use the treasures of Tianji Hall in their lifetime, but the treasures of the Avenger Chamber of Commerce were completely within their acceptable range. They were cost-effective. If they didn't use them, what else could they use? Those who bought the treasures realized that as long as they continued to earn wall stones, they could obtain large amounts of technological treasures and even exchange them for energy cards. Everyone's eyes immediately turned to the Demon God Empire. That would be their battlefield. The ancient wasteland world was too dangerous, and they did not have the means to go there. They might as well set their sights on the Demon God Empire, which would save them a lot of time and energy. Everyone knew that the Empire would soon set its sights on the Demon God Empire and eventually defeat it, leaving the Star Sector with only one expeditionary empire left. Shaolin, I really didn't expect that the stingy big families would not hesitate to call out such a high price for these technological treasures. It's really crazy. In the courtyard of Qiao Qingshan's residence, he said excitedly. It had been a long time since Qiao Qingshan had seen such a grand scene. The future of the Avenger Chamber of Commerce was a Jingguang Avenue. For the Capital Institute, it could also continue to stand at the peak through this. Sorry to trouble you today, Principal Qiao. Without you, who knows what kind of mess would have happened? Lin Fei said with a smile. Qiao Qingshan was very pleased to hear that. This kid really knew how to talk. These are the proceeds from today's auction. Lin Fei did not care about the auction. He only provided the necessary items, leaving Qiao Qingshan in charge. He scanned the items with the system. They were all there. He did not believe that Qiao Qingshan would be greedy, because it would be meaningless. Lin Fei put away the items. Principal Qiao, these are according to what I said before. Please take a look. And this is a personal gift from me, Principal Qiao. I hope our cooperation will continue. In the following days, the Avenger Chamber of Commerce maintained a high revenue and completely stabilized. Lin Fei did some calculations. Based on the current situation, in less than a month, everyone would be captivated by the technological treasures and become the most loyal users. Tianji Hall's influence outside would also disappear completely. Chapter 26:18. The Demon God Empire. As the arch-enemy of the Expedition Empire, recently the Demon God Empire had finally regained some of its morale. The establishment of the Avengers in the Capital College and the opening of a second branch was a huge blow to the Demon God Empire. For a long time, the Demon God Empire had never had an obvious advantage in attacking the Expeditionary Empire. Instead, they had been suppressed by the other side. When they had finally gained a certain advantage with the resources brought back by the first prince, they had tried to push forward. But the Expeditionary Empire had dealt them a heavy blow. This made the higher-ups of the Demon God Empire feel uneasy. They were in big trouble. Anyone who used a technological treasure would uncontrollably fall in love with it. A technological treasure could turn you into a powerhouse. Even if you were a loser, you could still be tyrannical. It was no longer a dream for a high-level expert to be killed by a low-level expert. Killing an enemy of a higher level? All you needed was a technological treasure. The entire Demon God Empire was grateful to the Avengers. They had given the Empire hope and the weak hope to become strong. But now they were at a loss. Was the Demon God Empire going to collapse? Why would the Avengers set up a branch in the Capital College? Wouldn't they be helping the Expedition Empire to destroy the Demon God Empire? The higher-ups of the Empire held several meetings. In the end, no matter how they discussed, they couldn't solve this problem. The Expedition Empire only needed to obtain a large number of technological treasures from the Avengers. It wouldn't take long for them to crush the Empire. No one knew what the Avengers were thinking. They had to be on guard. Who knew if there were any deals in private? We have to prepare for a rainy day, lest we get killed by surprise. One of the higher-ups said, causing the others to roll their eyes. Was there a need to remind them? Everyone knew it. If they didn't want to be defeated by the Expedition Empire, they had to be prepared. I think we should cooperate with Tianji Hall. They will definitely raise the price. Another higher-up said, It's not like we can't survive without the Avengers. As long as we pay the price, we can get whatever we want. The higher-up said confidently, The world was so big. There wasn't just one company that could do deals. They were about to be slapped in the face. Haha, you were talking about easy. Do you think that the things in Tianji Hall can be compared to the things in the Avengers? It's just a pile of junk. Even if our Demon God Empire is rich, we won't be able to withstand it. Everyone could not help but smile bitterly. The higher-ups present had long since abandoned the treasures of Tianji Hall and used the items of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce. The items of Tianji Hall were too lousy, and they did not want to use them even if they were given them. In addition, the items in Tianji Hall were famous for being expensive. If Tianji Hall had been willing to take the path of being cheap back then, they wouldn't have had to deal with the Avengers. They could have just stepped aside and wouldn't have lost their market share. Moreover, even if we cooperate with Tianji Hall with their production capabilities, will they be able to keep up with our demand? Look at the Avengers. They have the manufacturing methods in their hands. At the very least, they can produce in batches. How can Tianji Hall compare to the Avengers? They can produce in a year, but Tianji Hall needs 5 to 6 years, or even longer. The higher-ups of the Demon God's Empire all lowered their heads. The situation seemed to be very bad. The first prince, the enemy of blood, presided over the meeting. He was very disappointed with the performance of the higher-ups. They had a lot to do with the Empire's decline year by year. Since the last time he brought back the resources, the first prince's position had become even more secure. His brothers and sisters could no longer shake him. Since you can't think of anything, I'll say a few words. The enemy of blood said in a deep voice, Based on the current situation, we can only contact the Avengers. I believe there might be some misunderstanding. On the other hand, we can purchase the items of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce at a high price and quickly build up our strength. Apart from that, The demon god's empire must invest more troops in the ancient wasteland world to obtain the black crystal cards. Since the black crystal cards became popular, everyone had fallen in love with them. With enough black crystal cards, any technological treasure in one's hands would become a divine weapon that no one could block. The enemy of blood was right. No one could find a reason to refute him. Technological treasures were useful, but they consumed too much energy. Your Highness, you can leave the technological treasures to me. While everyone was silent, Qinlan pushed open the door of the meeting room in a black palace gown, exuding a powerful aura. Leave it to you? Qinlan said to the enemy of blood the moment she entered. She did not care about the gazes of the demon gods. Qinlan, what's going on between you and the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce? Why don't you give us an explanation for such a huge matter? Some demon gods were making things difficult for her. Qinlan had advanced triumphantly from a candidate saintess to the top 3. She also began to have supporters behind her. This also made some of the upper echelons of the empire unhappy. She was growing too fast. With her relationship with the Avengers, she had defeated many opponents along the way. If nothing went wrong, the position of Saintess would definitely belong to Qinlan in the future. This was equivalent to affecting the interests of many people. Now that Qinlan had barged in, it was undoubtedly an opportunity for them to make things difficult for her. Qinlan, how dare you? This is a meeting of the upper echelons of the empire. Who gave you the permission to barge in? An experienced upper echelon shouted. I don't care if you are doing this for the empire. You are now just a Saintess candidate. You have no right to participate in the upper echelons meeting. If we don't deal with you today, others will follow suit and disregard the dignity of the empire. Men, take Qinlan away. The guards rushed in and prepared to take her away. Stand down. The enemy of blood, who had been silent all this, shouted. Only then did the upper echelons of the empire react. They did not seem to notice the change in the crown prince's expression. After all, he was the beneficiary of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce. Qinlan, do you know your mistake? The enemy of blood didn't side with Qinlan. Even if you are a Saintess candidate and ranked highly, you should know the consequences of barging into the upper echelons meeting without giving a reason that everyone can believe. Even I can't speak up for you. With such words, the upper echelons were too embarrassed to say anything. Qinlan still had a faint smile on her face. In the eyes of the upper echelons of the empire, it seemed to be a kind of mockery. Thank you for your understanding, Your Highness. Qinlan first expressed her gratitude. As a member of the empire, I naturally have to contribute to the empire. This Saintess barged into the upper echelons meeting to tell Your Highness and everyone a piece of news. However, this news can only be told to Your Highness alone. The upper echelons of the empire's expression turned even uglier. Chapter 2619. In the past, Qinlan wouldn't have had the courage to say something like this. However, after getting closer to Lin Fei, Qinlan knew that she had to make use of this opportunity. She was well aware that many people in the upper echelons of the empire didn't like her. This time, Qinlan wanted to completely suppress them and take the position of the true holy maiden in one go. The Saintess had a high status in the demon god empire. She could participate in the meetings of the upper echelons and had the right to speak. However, the Saintess candidate was far from being able to talk to the upper echelons. No, some of the upper echelons were displeased. They were the upper echelons, after all. Why couldn't they know? Why can Her Highness know, but we can't? Qinlan, what are you up to? Are you working with the humans? Accusations were thrown at Qinlan. Enemy blood frowned. What is Qinlan trying to do? Is she trying to provoke the upper echelons of the empire? Doesn't she know that the influence of the upper echelons is too great for her? The upper echelons of the empire still had a great influence. Even enemy blood had to give them a hand to maintain a balance. As for controlling them completely, it would take time. Saintess Qinlan, this doesn't seem right. Enemy blood couldn't think of any good news that Qianlan could tell him. The Avengers' Chamber of Commerce had already been established in the Capital Institute, and no one could change it. Who knew what the Avengers would do next? Enemy Blood didn't expect Qianlan to tell him the inside story. He knew that Qianlan hadn't made much progress in the Institute. Even if she knew about Lin Fei, it wouldn't be of any help. What was more frightening was that Lin Fei's strength had been revealed as a pseudo-great emperor. This was shocking news to some people. Qianlan couldn't even get close to Lin Fei. Even if he wasn't a pseudo-great emperor, he would at least have a powerful technological treasure on him that could explode with the strength of a pseudo-great emperor. Enemy Blood was also suspicious of Qianlan's actions. This matter concerns the future of our empire. The upper echelons present should all know how serious this matter is. This holy maiden is worried that there are too many eyes here. If word of this spreads, it will be detrimental to the empire. But His Highness is different. Only when His Highness knows and has made a decision will this holy maiden dare to say it. Qianlan, are you saying that we will leak the news? Damn it, you're doubting us. Your Highness, I think we should capture Qianlan and interrogate her properly. I suspect that Qianlan has already been bribed by the Expeditionary Empire. If he wasn't bribed, why would he say such a thing? We're all doing this for the good of the Empire, yet he actually suspects us. This is too much. The upper echelons of the Empire were all reputable people. Now that Qianlan said this, it was clear that she was suspecting them. They immediately felt uncomfortable in their hearts. No one had ever dared to say such things to them. Although Qianlan, the Saint in Waiting, had brought many benefits to the Empire, she was too bold to question them in public. Although she didn't say it out loud, her meaning was clear. If one still couldn't tell, one would be the dumbest person in the world. They wanted to punish Qianlan. She was just a Saint in Waiting. If they wanted to suppress her, they could do it with just a word. In any case, the Demon God Empire was so big that there were countless people who wanted to be Saint in Waiting. Getting rid of an influential Saint in Waiting would save them a lot of effort. Qianlan wasn't moved. She smiled at Enemy Blood. Your Highness, do you really not want to know? Who are you? Are you worried that this holy maiden will do something to you? She was trying to provoke him with this sentence. Your Highness, if you miss today, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Your Highness knows very well what kind of person this holy maiden is. Anyway, it's just a few words. It doesn't matter whether you listen or not. Qianlan still had a confident look on her face. Enemy Blood knew Qianlan well. She wasn't an arrogant person. From a mediocre Saint in Waiting, she had gained support step by step. Now she was in the limelight. As the first prince, he knew this better than anyone else. Could it be that Qianlan really got some secret information? Enemy Blood had to consider another matter. Would she still have to listen or not? What if Qianlan wasn't just playing to the gallery? She really missed something. Enemy Blood's pupils constricted as thousands of thoughts flashed through his mind. Saintess Qianlan, according to what you said, I have no choice but to listen. Enemy Blood looked at Qianlan with interest. Your Highness, you can understand it that way. If your Highness doesn't want to listen, there's nothing I can do. But I have a clear conscience. Qianlan said with a faint smile. Enemy Blood was really impressed by Qianlan's courage. He wondered who gave her such courage to say such words on such an occasion. If I don't listen to what you said, I'll be a person who can't tell right from wrong. I'll fulfill your wish. Enemy Blood stood up and walked towards the screen. Qianlan smiled. This method might not work on other princes, but it would definitely work on the Crown Prince. She would never be wrong about this. Some of the dynasty's upper echelons frowned, but they couldn't stop the Crown Prince. Recently, the Crown Prince's influence had been increasing day by day. They couldn't stop him in public. They had decided that if Qianlan couldn't come up with a good explanation, she would be stripped of her Saintess candidate title. Those upper echelons who had a good impression of Qianlan were confused. What was she trying to do? Was she trying to offend all the other upper echelons? Behind the screen, enemy blood set up a soundproof array. Saintess Qinlan, you can tell me now. But you have to know that if your secret is not enough to move me, the higher-ups outside will not give me any face. They will definitely charge you with a serious crime. Blood enemy said. Qinlan said with a smile, Your Highness, you can rest assured. Since I am here, I'll definitely give you and everyone an explanation that will satisfy you. As for whether or not I'll tell them, that's another matter. But before that, I have a request that I hope Your Highness will agree to. Enemy Blood's interest was piqued. Tell me about it. If Your Highness thinks that this secret is worth it, this Saintess hopes to take the position of Saintess for real, instead of being a substitute. Qinlan's words were shocking. Enemy Blood was shocked. He looked at Qinlan with a strange look. Your request is really big. The position of Saintess is not something that I can decide. This woman is so ambitious. Enemy Blood couldn't help but feel surprised. Chapter 26:20. Your Highness, you can decide as long as you hear the news. Qinlan smiled. The enemy of blood didn't want to ask any further. He would rather listen to Qinlan's opinion. Go ahead, I'm listening. Qinlan said with a smile, Your Highness, you must be worried about the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce moving into Imperial College. You're afraid that the disparity in strength will be too great, which will affect the future of the Empire. I can tell Your Highness that what you're worried about will not happen, because I've already received authorization from the Avengers. From now on, the Demon God's Empire will secretly cooperate with the Avengers and provide corresponding technological treasures. I wonder if Your Highness will like this news? The enemy of blood was indeed shocked. This was definitely a piece of shocking news. Cooperation? The Avengers will cooperate with the Demon God Empire? The enemy of blood couldn't be sure. If it was true, the Empire would have nothing to worry about. Your Highness, do you think I'll lie to you? Qinlan smiled. This news is absolutely true. If you don't believe me, I can show you something else. This time, Qinlan came prepared. He took out a jade talisman and handed it to the enemy of blood. This is the message from Lin Fei, the person in charge of the Avengers. Lin Fei, the enemy of blood's eyes flickered. Could it be that Qinlan and Lin Fei are getting closer? Everyone knew who Lin Fei was. He was the newcomer king of Imperial College. Now he was the person in charge of the Avengers. He was even a quasi-emperor. It was hard not to take him seriously. As a neighbor, the Demon God Empire naturally knew who he was. He was listed as someone not to be messed with. Shui Rendi activated the jade talisman and shot out an illusory figure. Lin Fei's figure walked out of it. Brother Blood, I hope you don't mind my sudden visit. Lin Fei's voice was very clear. This is a meeting tool that allows us to travel across distances. You don't have to worry about information leaking. The secret between us will not be known by a third person. Let me introduce myself. I am Lin Fei, the temporary person in charge of the Avengers. The enemy of blood was a bit surprised, but he recovered quickly. So it's Brother Lin. I've long heard of Brother Lin's name. It's a pity that I've never had the chance to meet you. Who would have thought that we would meet under such circumstances? Blood enemy sighed. Who would have thought that such a young man would possess unfathomable strength? He was even the person in charge of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce. If not for the fact that he was the first prince of the Empire, who knew how different his status would be. I've heard of the first prince's name as well. He's the future overlord of the Demon God Empire. The rumors are true. The two of them were separated by a distance, but they did not give up. They appreciated each other. You want to cooperate with us? Blood enemy suppressed his annoyance and took the initiative to sniff. That's right. As a businessman, profit is the most important thing. We are not interested in anything else. Your Demon God Empire is a good partner. I can make the decision to provide you with all kinds of technological treasures. The price can even be 10% or 20% lower than outside. We can even specialize in the production of technological treasures. Lin Fei said seriously. Enemy of Blood did not expect the other party to be so straightforward. Thousands of thoughts flashed through his mind. Brother Lin, is your Avengers trying to start a war between our two empires? Enemy of Blood enemy stared at Lin Fei. You should know that if this news spreads to the Expedition Empire, I'm afraid your business will be greatly affected. Aren't you worried? Lin Fei smiled. Worried? That's something only the weak would think about. Our Avengers only wants to do business. Unless your demon god empire is willing to be wiped out by the Expedition Empire in a few decades, perhaps it won't take that long. I believe Brother Blood knows what's more important. Threat? Lin Fei was not afraid. This time, Lin Fei had the demon god empire's lifeline in his hands. Unless they were willing to become slaves of a subjugated empire, Enemy of Blood enemy was indeed trying to provoke Lin Fei. He did not expect the latter to not care at all. This made his move useless. Just as he said, he did not want to see the Expedition Empire grow stronger. With the advantage of technological treasures, the Expedition Empire would only grow stronger. Resources could bridge the gap between them. It was impossible not to be anxious. Brother Lin, it was just a joke. Don't mind it. Enemy of Blood enemy smiled. We're all willing to cooperate with the Avengers. Seeing that his threat had failed, Enemy of Blood enemy immediately changed his words. Qinlan, who was beside him, also smiled. The Empire's move was completely useless in front of Lin Fei. Sometimes she was shocked. What was Lin Fei's position in the Avengers? Wasn't his authority a little too great? We also like to cooperate with smart people. Lin Fei smiled. Before we cooperate, there is one thing that I want to make clear to you. Regarding the cooperation, I don't want any information to be leaked from the upper echelons. As for the technological treasures, we will rearrange them for you. Even if people suspect us, they won't suspect the Avengers. I believe this doesn't matter. Enemy of Blood enemy secretly cursed Lin Fei for being shameless. On one hand, he was cooperating with the Expedition Empire. On the other hand, he was cooperating with the Demon God Empire. How shameless! Enemy of Blood enemy would not dare to say such words, even if he was beaten to death. No problem. We won't care about it. Enemy of Blood said that it was not a problem. It would be great if the price could be lowered a little. Also, you have to know that from now on, the cooperation between you and the Avengers will be handled by Qinlan. If you have any ideas or requests, you can tell Qinlan. She will pass it on to us. Lin Fei said again. That's right. Enemy of Blood enemy. Guess something. Brother Lin, you can rest assured. There won't be any problems with the cooperation. Enemy of Blood enemy guaranteed. Later, I will propose Saintess Qinlan to be in charge of our cooperation. I like what you said. I hope that our cooperation can continue. Enemy of Blood enemy and Lin Fei chatted for a while longer. Then, the jade talisman broke and the screen disappeared. That's it. Enemy of Blood enemy felt like he was dreaming. This was too fast. The problem concerning the fate of the Empire was solved so easily. The Empire only needed to collect the black crystal cards. It was too smooth. Your Highness, what do you think of this news? Qinlan smiled. Enemy of Blood enemy looked at Qinlan with a complicated look. Saintess Qinlan, you have made great contributions to the Empire. I will propose you to be the new Saintess of the Demon God Empire. At this moment, Enemy of Blood enemy knew what he had to do. From today onward, Qinlan would be a part of the upper echelons of the Empire. She even had the support of a quasi-emperor, Lin Fei. P.S. Recommend a book to a friend. The strongest game system. Accidentally obtain the game system. Log in every day, collect the gift packs and be a man. Experience elixirs, godly weapons, martial arts, godly beasts, VIP, and mysterious prizes. Heaven rewards the diligent. Continue to log in and receive the grand prize. What? You are a genius? Chapter 26-21. The upper echelons of the Empire were all waiting for the result. When Her Highness comes out, I want to see how Qianlan is going to explain herself. Of course, Qianlan has been promoted too quickly. She doesn't know her place anymore. When Her Highness comes out, if she doesn't have an explanation, just take her away and let others know the consequences of offending the upper echelons. Those upper echelons who were unhappy with Qianlan were all preparing to make trouble. Given the current situation of the Empire, it wasn't something that Qianlan alone could turn around. As for those upper echelons who supported or admired Qianlan, they began to worry. I really don't know what Qianlan is trying to do. She's destroying her own future. After exchanging glances, several upper echelons shook their heads. They were not optimistic about Qianlan's actions. So far, there weren't many upper echelons who supported Qianlan. Naturally, they couldn't go against the majority of the upper echelons. All of them kept their mouths shut to avoid getting into trouble. He's out. When Enemy Bloody Man came out, the eyes of the upper echelons lit up. At this moment, Enemy Bloody Man came out with a gloomy face. He seemed to be in a bad mood. To the upper echelons, this was good news. Qianlan must have angered Her Highness. Qianlan, you have nothing to say now, right? Your Highness, I suggest taking Qianlan down and charging her with the crime of disrupting the conference. The upper echelons began to make trouble. This time, I'll teach you a lesson, you little *TCH. Enemy Bloody Man's gaze was calm. He glanced at them and slammed his palm on the conference table. Shut up, all of you. The upper echelons were stunned. What was going on? Weren't you in a bad mood? We're standing up for you. The upper echelons couldn't understand. Qianlan smiled. She was gorgeous. What right do you have to charge Holy Maiden Qianlan? Just because she barged in and interrupted the conference? Enemy Bloody Man's gaze turned sharp. Is it you? Or is it you? Enemy Bloody Man looked at them one by one. The upper echelons looked at each other. What was going on with Her Highness? Why did she protect Qianlan? Did something happen? Your Highness, we're doing this for your own good, a senior upper echelon said calmly. Enemy Bloody Man liked these upper echelons who were putting on airs. They weren't very capable, but they were good at infighting. If it weren't for the senior, he would have kicked them out long ago. All right, Bloodman Enemy sneered. I really want to know what's so good about you. When the Empire was in danger, did you come up with any solutions? None at all. You only know this and that. At the critical moment, you can't come up with any solutions. What's the use of you? The enemy of Bloody Man did not give them any face at all. As long as the Empire cooperated with the Avengers, there would be an endless supply of technological treasures. The strength of the Empire would also increase. At that time, it would not be impossible for the Empire to defeat the Expeditionary Empire. As long as this cooperation existed, the enemy of Bloodman would have the confidence to fight against the higher-ups. By then, even his father would be on his side. Hearing Enemy Shue's words, the faces of the higher-ups darkened. They had never been scolded by someone before. If it was the great emperor, they wouldn't say anything. However, His Highness's words were like a slap to their faces. It would be strange if he wasn't angry. Your Highness, how can you say that we are not worried about the Imperium? The Imperium is our root. We all want to share the burden of the Imperium. Could it be that we are inferior to a Saintess candidate? Your Highness, we want an explanation. The higher-ups were furious. The eldest prince, the enemy of Bloodman, was not a great emperor expert yet. He did not even have the ability to control the Imperium. Naturally, they had nothing to fear. The enemy of Bloodman was very disappointed. These were the higher-ups of the Imperium. They only knew how to fight for power. The future of the Imperium was worrying. Explanation? You don't need to know. The enemy of Bloodman shouted. The information provided by Saintess Qianlan will become the absolute secret of the Imperium. At that time, even my father would agree to it. The enemy of Bloodman's cold gaze swept across the crowd. Everyone here, if you are not convinced, you can go and seek an explanation from His Majesty. The higher-ups were dumbfounded. They were not qualified to know. What was this? We are the higher-ups of the Imperium. What is the meaning of bringing up the great Emperor now? Your Highness, this is not right. The previous higher-up shook his head. As the higher-ups, we are qualified to know everything. We don't want your Highness to be deceived. These words seemed to be directed at the enemy of Bloodman, but in fact it was directed at Qinlan. We want to know the information. Your Highness, you have no right to hide the information. What the higher-ups were best at was causing trouble. A single piece of information could change the attitude of the Imperium. None of them dared to let their guard down. If Qinlan's method was targeted at them, it would be bad. No one wanted their benefits to be affected. The enemy of Bloodman really admired these stubborn higher-ups. This information was too important. Once it was spread, it would no longer be the Imperium's secret weapon. Who knew if any of the higher-ups here had colluded with outsiders? This was something they had to guard against. Who wants to cause trouble? At this moment, above the conference room, a figure appeared out of nowhere. The aura he emitted was as sharp as a blade, causing everyone to feel pain. No one would have thought that someone would appear at this moment. Father! The enemy of Bloodman was the first to react. The higher-ups looked up and their expressions changed. Why did this person appear? The reason why they could put on airs in the conference room was because of their seniority. Suppressing the enemy of Bloodman wasn't a big deal. Now that the great Emperor was here, they couldn't do as they pleased anymore. Qinlan lowered her head, enduring the pressure that was as sharp as a knife. The first prince has informed His Majesty without anyone noticing. The higher-ups here are going to be embarrassed. The black-robed man in the sky had a cold gaze. Under his gaze, the higher-ups began to tremble. Your Majesty, you've misunderstood. We were just joking. One of the higher-ups braced himself and said, Yes, we were just joking. How would we dare to go against His Highness? Before the great Emperor, they had no right to be arrogant. Oh, so you were just joking. How old are you? Why are you still joking? Aren't you afraid of becoming a laughingstock? The higher-ups didn't dare to raise their heads. His Majesty's temperament was one of decisiveness in killing. It was all forged through killing. The words of the enemy of Bloodman are my words. Ask whatever you want. The black-robed man said calmly. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. The higher-ups wanted to cry. Ask? Who would dare to ask? Even if they had 100 guts, they wouldn't dare to do so. The enemy of Bloodman secretly felt lucky. He had previously sent a message to his father's clone to hold the fort. Otherwise, it would be difficult to clean up the mess. Father, they didn't know about the situation. Ignorance is not a crime. The enemy of Bloodman spoke up for them. Father, please don't blame them. How kind of you. The black-robed man said, Hurry up and thank the enemy of Bloodman for pleading for you. Otherwise, I will send you to the battlefield for this matter. Qinlan, you've done well. The black-robed man's gaze paused on Qinlan for a moment. The Empire needs talents like you. From today onward, you will be the new saintess of the Empire. I hope that you will consider the Empire more. Qinlan thanked him. Thank you, Your Majesty. She became the saintess? The higher-ups were collectively dumbfounded. What kind of news was that? It could allow Qinlan to ascend to the heavens in a single step. Chapter 26-22. Changes quickly took place within the demon god empire. The saintess candidate, Qinlan, had finally taken the position. Furthermore, she had received the approval of the upper echelons. When the saintess candidate heard the news, they knew that the situation was hopeless. Qinlan officially became the new saintess. For a time, it became a hot topic in the demon god empire. No one knew how Qianlan had been able to take the position so easily. The elders of the upper echelons did not mention it, which confused many people. After the first prince, the enemy of the Blood Man, obtained permission, he mobilized the strongest demon warriors of the empire and formed a secret new army, which was under the control of the enemy of the Blood Man. Half a month after Qianlan took the position, the first collaboration was completed. The Demon God Empire obtained a batch of technological treasures. Their appearance was different from the technological treasures of the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce, but their power was not reduced. Qianlan's position as the Saintess was truly unshakable. Ancient wasteland world, Lianyun continent. Demonic poison tribe. In an ordinary-looking building, Lin Fei was leisurely enjoying the service of maidservants. These 2 maidservants were given to him by Qianlan, and their bodies were filled with the aura of a foreign tribe. After becoming the Saintess, Qianlan held great power. She joined forces with the first prince and the Blood Man to fight against the internal forces of the empire. Afraid that she would not be by Lin Fei's side, she specially sent maidservants to serve him. Lin Fei did not refuse. Moreover, the 2 maidservants were from the fox tribe of the demon race. With their furry tails, they were rather sensual. That night, Lin Fei slept with the maidservants. It was indeed a wonderful feeling, but compared to the wild Qianlan, it was still lacking. Master, the territory of our demonic poison tribe has already expanded to the limit. If we continue, we will touch the interests of the large tribes. Even the alliance of the tribes will take action. This was already the 2nd month since Lin Fei had arrived in Lianyun continent. Ever since the auction was held perfectly, Lin Fei had handed everything over to the puppets. Coupled with the little fiend's control, he had shifted his attention to Lianyun continent. This was the place with the most abundant source of energy cards. Lin Fei didn't really care about the harvest outside. The Who Devil Man stood nervously in front of Lin Fei. Ever since he had a new master, his power and status had been rising. In a short period of time, the demonic poison tribe had grown from a small, unranked tribe to a medium-sized tribe. They controlled a large area, and their entire person had become incomparably glorious. Every time he was in front of Lin Fei, the Who Demons didn't dare to show any emotions. Then we'll consolidate our territory. Lin Fei frowned. Then we'll contact those small tribes in private, provide them with technological treasures, and I want them to expand their territory. Tell them that I only want energy cards to trade. After sending the Who Demons away, Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. Lianyun continent is different from South Cloud continent. In South Cloud continent, the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce has roped in all the forces. If outsiders want to do something to the Chamber of Commerce, they have to deal with those major forces first. However, in Lianyun continent, human forces, allied forces, and even the 8 ancient families are all involved. Lin Fei studied for several days. It wasn't easy to plunder resources in Lianyun continent. Even the human forces couldn't take another step forward after such a long time, and could only maintain their current division. Do we really have to wait? Lin Fei disliked this process. If it took too long, who could guarantee that nothing would happen? "Young master, are you not feeling well?" the maid beside him asked in a soft voice. Her voice was so soft that it could seep into his bones. Who said that young master is not feeling well? Young master is just thinking about how to deal with you tonight. Lin Fei hugged the maid. The progress in Lianyun continent was too slow. It was completely beyond Lin Fei's imagination. All the resources in Lianyun continent were controlled by people. Lin Fei secretly controlled the demonic poison tribe, but it didn't expand much. Instead, the pressure from within the allied forces made him very unhappy. The demonic poison tribe had risen too quickly. Coupled with the technological treasures that they revealed, many tribes had the idea of annexing them, and even proposed to incorporate them. They wanted to become their subsidiary forces. Lin Fei could only let the Hu demons talk to them. He didn't want to offend them for the time being, unless he revealed his full strength. But if he did that, the entire allied forces would attack the demonic poison tribe. Those who didn't understand the allied forces would never know how terrifying they were. Up until now, this allied forces controlled the huge tribal forces in the ancient wasteland world. Even the human experts had to stand aside. Internally, there were many factions that suppressed each other. It was extremely cruel. The demonic poison tribe that Lin Fei had supported occupied a piece of territory. In the end, he had no choice but to let the Hu demons join a force and give them a large sum of money. This saved him from trouble. But this also gave the demonic poison tribe a label. Lin Fei didn't care much about this. Ancient wasteland world, Black Order continent. This place was filled with black. The ground was black. The plants that grew here were also black. Those who had just arrived would think that they had come to the wrong place. How could there be such a place in the ancient wasteland world? The black oppressive aura made people feel extremely uncomfortable. Their first thought was to leave this place, to leave this oppressive place. Black Order Continent was the name of this region. Its size far surpassed the other continents, such as the South Cloud Continent and the Liaoning Continent. But the only difference was that the Black Order Continent was a place in the entire ancient wasteland world that external forces could not enter. This was the territory of the ancient, desolate beasts. In the Black Order Continent, there were powerful, ancient, desolate beasts. No one knew how many ancient, desolate beasts there were. So far, everyone only knew that there was a divine diamond ape in the Black Order Continent. It was an ancient, desolate beast with a long lifespan and terrifying battle power. Opponents of the same level could not even withstand a single blow from it. The Black Order Continent had always been the place that the human experts feared the most. Back then, the human experts had joined forces and tried to kill the divine diamond ape. In the end, they did not expect the other party's strength to be so tyrannical that it crushed them on the spot. Instead, it killed most of them, and only a few returned alive. From then on, no one dared to spy on the Black Order Continent. That night, the moon was dark and the wind was strong. The Black Order Continent was shrouded in darkness. One could not even see their own fingers. Black Order Continent. A figure quietly landed on a big tree. His deep eyes were filled with a rare solemnity. Are you sure it's in the Black Order Continent and not somewhere else? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After a while, a few figures quietly appeared. There was not even a ripple in the space. It's in the Black Order Continent. You can rest assured. That thing is not deep in the Black Order Continent, but at the border between the Black Order Continent and another continent. The divine diamond ape definitely does not know that we are here. I heard that old thing is in seclusion. Chapter 26-23. At the border between the Black Order Continent and the Black Water Continent. Without warning, several powerful auras were emitted. The ancient beasts of the Black Order Continent were alarmed. Thick divine senses swept over. Some ancient beasts even broke through the air because they had smelled the aura of humans. The ancient beasts of the Black Order Continent did not like the aura of humans. Whenever one appeared, they would take the initiative to kill it. After a while, it became a small hobby of theirs. You dare to join hands with outsiders? At the border, a black figure was surrounded by lightning, shattering the void and forming a black hole. His lightning body cannot be maintained in perfect condition. Everyone attacked together, destroy him, and divide his empire. Several people besieged him, unleashing a series of terrifying attacks that set off a series of terrifying energy fluctuations. The ball of lightning flickered, and everywhere it passed, a charred smell filled the air. Far away in the Liaoning continent, Lin Fei was also startled. Such a strong energy wave. Could it be that the allied tribes and the humans are fighting again? Lin Fei did not go out to check. Ever since he had placed his focus on the Liaonian continent, Lin Fei had spent more time there. Regrettably, after 3 years, the situation in the Liaonian continent had not changed much. The only thing that made Lin Fei happy was that the overall strength of the Liaonian continent had increased by a lot. There were constant small-scale battles. This was what Lin Fei wanted to see. After 3 years of losing money, the tribes had finally become ambitious. This would affect the future of the Liaonian continent. The battle that had erupted outside, Lin Fei first suspected it to be a small-scale battle. He was not interested in going out to check. Based on the speed of the energy wave, it was definitely not in the Liaonian continent, but in the Black Water continent. Lin Fei did not have the time to go there. The next day, early morning, I did not expect him to be so determined. He knows that it is a dead end, but he still knows to charge in. If he was at his peak, he might have a chance to survive. Now that he is heavily injured, he will definitely die in the depths of the Black Order continent. On a mountain peak, a few people looked at the darkness, deep in thought. I believe that the ancient beasts of the Black Order continent will be very interested. After all, that is a great emperor. That's right, those ancient beasts won't let a great emperor come out alive. We can also start the next step, which is to divide up the empire he built. However, in order to prevent him from playing any tricks, we must keep an eye on the Black Order continent and ensure that that person does not have the chance to come out. The few of them nodded and disappeared into the void. A few days later, shocking news came from the Black Order continent. Have you heard? The ancient beast experts of the Black Order continent are trying to capture a mysterious human expert. This seems to be real. Which expert of the human race has the guts to enter the Black Order continent? Isn't that just looking for trouble? That human expert must have met with misfortune. The Black Order continent is famous for being the graveyard of human experts. Who knows how many human experts have died there? That's terrible. The news quickly spread across the nearby continents, causing an uproar. It had been many years since anyone had dared to barge into the Black Order continent. Lin Fei also heard about it. The demonic poison tribe was considered a medium-sized tribe, and its intelligence network was very complete. Lin Fei also quickly learned of this matter. Could it be that a human expert fought with an expert from the tribal alliance last night? But this human expert is really bold. Of all places, he actually dared to barge into the Black Order continent. He must be tired of living. Lin Fei was very clear about the Black Order continent, so he paid close attention to it. According to the little fiend, the Black Order continent was the nest of the ancient beasts. There were hundreds of millions of dire beasts living here, so it became everyone's nightmare. The tribal alliance was powerful enough, but they still did not dare to behave atrociously in the Black Order continent. There was an old monster here who could cover the sky with one hand. Anyone who provoked him would pay a heavy price. Lin Fei did not think that the mysterious person could survive. The ancient beasts of the Black Order continent loved to chase and kill human experts, especially those who barged into their territory. It was a very interesting game. It had been a long time since an expert had barged into the Black Order continent. When this human expert barged in, he was quickly targeted by the ancient beast experts. From time to time, news would spread. Today, one of the ancient beasts was killed by a human cultivator. Some ancient beast injured the human expert, but also left many wounds. As the news spread out one after another, everyone was shocked. That human was truly an expert. To think that he could even kill an ancient beast. Compared to the outside world, the number of ancient beast experts in the Black Order continent was not small. In the beginning, there were only a few ancient beast experts. After the human expert killed the ancient beast, some other powerful ancient beasts also moved out and joined in the encirclement. The group grew larger and larger. 12 ancient beast experts discovered the other party's tracks. They engaged in a fierce battle. The human expert killed one of the ancient beast experts, but his arm was chopped off by the other party. He broke out of the encirclement. The human expert was seriously injured, and another ancient beast expert was killed. The human expert was forced into the depths of the Black Order continent. The news came one after another, shocking and surprising. It was only when one of the 10 great ancient beast experts of the Black Order continent made a move and forced the other party into a desperate situation in the Black Order continent that the matter truly ended. This mysterious expert of the human race was also remembered by the people. When the news spread in the void outside the Black Order continent, several black-robed men appeared. They had received the news through their own means. I didn't expect his lightning body to be so powerful. Even though he was seriously injured, he was still able to kill so many ancient beast experts and force the ancient devil poison of the 10 great ancient beasts to make a move. He asked for it. He dared to reject our family. This is his fate. We can go now. Once one entered that place, they could forget about coming out. Furthermore, they were poisoned by the ancient devil poison. In another place, the atmosphere in the glorious palace was extremely oppressive. Sounds of shattering could be heard continuously. A young man wearing a magic crown was standing in front of a pile of broken things. Fan Qingyuan, you've gone too far. How dare you interfere with my destruction army? This person was Fan Qinglong. For the past 3 years, Fan Qinglong had not had a good time. After the Avengers Chamber of Commerce established a branch in the Capital Institute, Fan Qingyuan had also benefited. The new army in his hands was equipped with new technological weapons, and they had made great contributions in the battles against the demon god's empire. On the other hand, Fan Qinglong's battle strength was poor, forming a huge contrast. Fan Qinglong's influence in the army was weakening day by day. Many people were swayed and took the initiative to side with the first prince. This time the first prince had extended his hand into the destruction army. This was equivalent to shaking Fan Qinglong's foundation. This time, Fan Qinglong was really angry. He could not suppress his anger even after breaking many of his treasures. Fifth prince, how have you been? What has made you so angry? In the palace, the space fluctuated, and a person appeared in a flash with a faint smile. How dare you come? Chapter 26-24. In 3 years, Fan Qinglong could not wait any longer. He thought that he had been tricked. His elder brother's influence was growing day by day, and he was completely above him. If he had an advantage 3 years ago, then all of that advantage was gone now. It was very normal for Fan Qinglong to hate the person who came. Fifth prince, I'm here to congratulate you. Congratulate? Fan Qinglong sneered. If you don't give me a satisfactory reason today, I can guarantee that you won't be able to take half a step out of here today. Fan Qinglong was in despair. As long as that person existed, all of his thoughts would only exist in his dreams. Your Highness, your greatest worry has been resolved. That person will not return. Your Highness, you can prepare to take action. I will also be by your side to help you get rid of those who oppose you, the person said with a smile. Fan Qinglong's body trembled. Really? You can arrange for the investigation of the recent major events in the ancient wasteland world. That was really done by us. Fan Qinglong's eyes flashed. 10 days later, the expedition to the Empire, the palace. What are you doing? Quick, stop them. They are rebelling. At noon on this day, at the entrance of the palace, they encountered the fifth prince's destruction army. Without a word, they attacked ferociously. Instantly, there were countless casualties, and the entrance of the palace was occupied. Fan Qinglong led his men and killed their way in. Everywhere they passed, corpses were everywhere. Fear, panic, and all sorts of other emotions could be seen on everyone's faces. No one dared to believe the scene in front of them. The fifth prince had actually led his troops in, and it was the elite destruction army at that. Elder brother, you seem to be in a good mood today. Are you thinking about how to reduce my authority? Fan Qinglong led his men to the entrance of the palace and saw his elder brother, Fan Qingyuan, who had also led his men out. Fan Qinglong, do you know what you are doing? Fan Qingyuan was furious. Even the stupidest person would know what had happened. His fifth brother had really led his troops in. Over the past 3 years, Fan Qingyuan had never forgotten to guard against his fifth brother. As the new army under his command won every battle and gained support from the military, he gradually stopped paying attention to his fifth brother. Fan Qinglong smiled proudly and said, "Big brother, are you an idiot? I've brought troops here to suppress you, traitor, and restore peace to the empire. Don't think that no one knows what you've done, but I know it clearly." Fan Qinglong naturally had to find an excuse to kill his way in openly. "You're slandering us." Fan Qingyuan was infuriated. "Now, get them to put down their weapons and surrender. This emperor can deal with them leniently." Ha 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 ha. Fan Qingyuan didn't care at all. "Big brother, just accept your fate. The entire palace is surrounded by the array. None of your people can enter. Today, you won't be able to escape. Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive." In order to prevent any unforeseen events, Fan Qinglong took the lead and brandished his saber. Fan Qingyuan's heart sank. Something happened to father. Over here, Azure Dragon led troops to attack the palace. This must have something to do with Azure Dragon. How could he do this? Before he could think further, Fan Qinglong slashed his saber. The guards beside him went forward to block it, but they were easily split into two. "Big brother, you're going to lose today." Fan Qinglong attacked fiercely and continuously attacked his heart. For a moment, he suppressed his big brother and even left several wounds on his body. "Aren't you afraid that father will blame you? Don't forget that father's independent clone is still guarding here." Fan Qingyuan retreated step by step. "The royal family's elders will also not acknowledge you." Fan Qinglong said sinisterly, "This emperor will kill whoever doesn't acknowledge me. I'll kill them until they do. Anyway, this emperor doesn't like them, so it's better to kill them all. Big brother, what do you think of this suggestion?" "You're crazy. They're all your uncles and elders. Whoever dares to block this emperor's path deserves to die." Fan Qinglong's aura continued to rise. He abandoned his saber and changed it into a fist, punching through the air. "Big brother, you too." The palace was isolated by an array formation, so no one knew that there was an internal conflict. "Your Highness, leave quickly. There's too many of them. We can't hold them off anymore." The guards around Fan Qingyuan were killed one by one. The crazed Fan Qinglong became more and more ferocious. He kept suppressing Fan Qingyuan and constantly left wounds on his body. The situation was not looking good. "Fan Qinglong, how dare you usurp the throne?" With a loud shout, the royal family's elders finally appeared. With such a huge commotion, they rushed over immediately and saw Fan Qinglong besieging Fan Qingyuan. Fan Qingyuan was delighted. With the royal family's elders here, the other party wouldn't be able to do anything. Fan Qinglong was waiting for this moment. He opened his sleeves, and a white light burst out. "Big brother, you can go down now." The white light instantly enveloped Fan Qingyuan. With a moment of carelessness, Fan Qingyuan quickly took out a treasure to protect himself. Under the white light, everything slowed down. He saw Fan Qinglong's fist land on his chest, and he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Then his entire body sank into endless darkness. The first prince, Fan Qingyuan, was dead. "Ha ha ha ha, big brother, you're finally dead." Fan Qinglong slashed with his palm, and a huge head fell on his hand. Fan Qingyuan still looked like he died with a grievance. "You definitely didn't expect that the treasure just now was someone else's treasure. It was used to deal with you. Without you, no one can stop me from ascending to that position." This scene happened too quickly. Before the royal family's elders could react, the first prince was killed, and his head fell on the other party's hand. "Fifth Prince, how dare you kill me?" A royal family elder shot out 2 jingguang across the air toward Fan Qinglong. "It's your turn now." Fan Qinglong was not afraid at all and said to the void, "A bunch of stubborn old fools. I'll take care of them. I promise I won't let your highness down." An old man appeared in front of Fan Qinglong, and with a wave of his hand, he sent the 2 jingguang flying. "How dare you attack His Majesty? You must die!" Swoosh! A terrifying aura pressed down on them. The old man stretched out his hand and pointed. The royal family elder's forehead was instantly pierced by the other party. He didn't even have time to block it, and he fell from the sky, dying with a grievance. This is a quasi-great emperor expert. Some of the royal family elders were shocked. Everyone present was a 9th job transition professional. Apart from quasi-great emperors, not many people could easily break through their defenses and kill them. Everyone, hurry up and join forces to kill this person. Although the royal family's elders were a bunch of stubborn old fools, they valued orthodoxy very much, and they retaliated at the first instance. The old man's actions were faster than theirs. Chapter 26-25. The group of royal elders had suffered heavy losses. The old man's strength was too tyrannical. He had crushed them with absolute strength, and in just a few moments, 7 or 8 elders had been killed. "Well done." Fan Qinglong laughed maniacally. "This is what happens when you don't support me. Fifth Prince, don't kill anymore. We support you to become the crown prince. Stop fighting." The old man posed a great threat to them. 7 or 8 elders had been killed by him. They had organized a few counterattacks, but to no avail. They immediately realized that they couldn't do anything. Under such circumstances, it would be futile to continue. It was better to shake hands and make peace. The old man stopped and locked his aura on them. As long as they made any movements, he would be able to kill them immediately without letting them leave. Fan Qinglong shook his head. No. Crown Prince, what are you talking about? I want to become the new great emperor. No one can sit on that position except me. The group of royal elders had only thought that the 5th prince wanted to become the crown prince and had launched a mutiny. They had never imagined that he was aiming for that position. They completely looked down on the crown prince. If it were any other time, they would definitely have reprimanded him. This was simply too reckless. "Right, let me tell you something. Something happened to my father," Fan Qinglong said. "The empire can't be without a ruler. I will become the great emperor. Something happened." The expressions of the remaining royal elders changed drastically. No one knew better than them the importance of a great emperor. Without a great emperor, the empire would immediately become a fat piece of meat that any force would want to take a bite out of. "Fifth Prince, how can we believe your words? Your Majesty is a great emperor. Who can harm your Majesty? We absolutely won't believe it." Fan Qinglong's eyes flashed coldly. He gave the old man a look and made up his mind. "Then you can sacrifice yourselves to fulfill this emperor's wish." The old man took out a treasure that looked like a black gourd and instantly activated it. A suction force enveloped them, and no matter how they struggled, it was useless. One by one, they were sucked into the black gourd. "Your Majesty, their foundations are not bad. As long as you refine them, your Majesty can absorb their strength and instantly become a great emperor. No one will be able to kill your Majesty," the old man said to Fan Qinglong. Good. Fan Qinglong knew that his strength was a shortcoming. If he had the strength of a pseudo-great emperor, and he could control it, he would have the confidence to speak. "I'll have to trouble you next. Serving your Majesty is what I should do." Fan Qinglong strode into the great hall of the empire and sat on the seat that did not belong to him. Ha. From today onwards, this emperor shall be the emperor. The entire empire shall be under my control. Not the slightest news of the changes in the palace leaked out. The next day, Fan Qinglong summoned the patriarchs of the imperial capital in the name of Big Brother, saying that he had something important to discuss. Over the past 3 years, the first prince had done everything personally, gaining the acknowledgement of the major powers in the capital. As such, he did not have any doubts about the summons and happily went over. They regretted it the moment they left. The first prince did not appear. The one who came was the fifth prince, and then a head was displayed. Without the fifth prince saying anything, the clan heads immediately realized that there was a change in the palace. The first prince, whom they had high hopes for, had been killed. Following that, many doubts arose. Right now, they had to deal with this. Among the major powers that Fan Qinglong had invited, a few of them had opposed him back then. You guys didn't expect this, right? The expressions of the few clan heads changed drastically. Before they could do anything, the elites lying in ambush in the surroundings launched a fierce attack on them, killing them on the spot. They did not even have time to grunt. As for the remaining ones, they tactfully chose to submit. At this point, Fan Qinglong had successfully taken control of the imperial capital. The originally peaceful imperial capital suddenly had a major event. After everyone heard about it, they felt that it was unbelievable. It turned out that a few major powers in the imperial capital had ambushed the first prince in the great hall of the palace, causing him to be seriously injured and on the verge of death. The empire had quickly dispatched troops to suppress the few major powers in the imperial capital. Undoubtedly, many people could not digest this news. These major powers were all famous. However, under such circumstances, they had been suppressed by the other party, and their entire clan had been slaughtered. Everyone who saw this was shocked. This had happened too quickly. All the major and minor powers were shocked. This was something that was completely impossible. Those major powers were all on the first prince's side. Why would they attack the first prince? After the incident with the first prince, the entire imperial capital was placed under martial law. The formation in the palace was also activated. Everything seemed to prove that the first prince had been attacked. After the martial law was placed, a series of searches began. Within a few days, many of the major powers in the imperial capital had suffered. They were all taken away by the expeditionary guards, and the entire imperial capital was in a state of panic. At the same time, the first prince sent a message to the leaders of the various regions, ordering them to immediately head to the imperial capital. He said that he had something to announce on behalf of his father. When the news fell into the hands of the leaders of the various regions, all of them had strange expressions. Things had happened too quickly. The leaders of the various regions were suspicious and did not want to be involved. Under the orders of the emperor, they had no choice but to head to the imperial capital. In fact, they all wanted to know if the emperor had made up his mind. The leaders of the various regions suspected that the assassination had been carried out by the fifth prince. In their eyes, the fifth prince was the most ambitious and had a considerable status in the army. With the first prince being assassinated, the fifth prince was definitely the biggest suspect. To those who supported the fifth prince, this was not good news. It was no wonder. In the past 3 years, the first prince had been suppressing the fifth prince. With his advantage gone, it was inevitable that he would not be able to control himself and do something that no one wanted to see. They complained about the fifth prince's foolishness as they headed to the imperial capital, prepared to be scolded. After all, they were close to the fifth prince. They were still worried about this trip to the imperial capital, afraid that His Majesty would blame them. They had no choice but to go. All of them were in a mess. Emperor Peak. Fan Luoyu also received the news. News from the palace. Is this father's order? In the past 3 years, Fan Luoyu had treated Emperor Peak as her home and rarely returned to the palace. She had been worried about the Shao clan. Luckily, the Shao clan seemed to have given up in the past 3 years and did not appear again. This made Fan Luoyu feel at ease. Was Big Brother really sent by Fifth Brother to assassinate him? News from the palace. It was intermittent. Fan Luoyu was not too sure about the specific situation. but something had happened. I'll go. Fan Luiyu did not suspect anything and agreed to return to the palace. Chapter 26:26. The Imperial Capital. This ancient place. With the arrival of the domain masters, all kinds of gossip quickly spread throughout the imperial capital. The biggest news was that the fifth prince was the main culprit, setting up a trap to assassinate the first prince. His Majesty was furious and wanted to punish the fifth prince, so he informed the domain masters to come. This news was spread with eyes and noses, and it was the most recognized news. This was because after the first prince was assassinated, the fifth prince disappeared. According to the news from the servants in the fifth prince's residence, he was taken away by the expedition guards. In the entire empire, only the expedition guards had the right to take away the fifth prince. This matter was really done by the fifth prince. After so many days, the fifth prince had not shown his face at all. Combined with the previous events, it was hard not to believe it. On this day, important figures gathered in the palace. The domain masters and the clan leaders of the imperial capital were almost all in the palace. Everyone was exchanging information in private. They wanted to know exactly what had happened and why it was like this. The ninth princess is here. Fan Luiyu's arrival attracted many gazes. The secret of the royal family was not a big secret in the eyes of the domain masters. Everyone naturally knew about the incident with the Shao family 3 years ago. The domain masters came to greet her. How is eldest brother? Fan Luiyu asked her other brothers and sisters, but they shook their heads, indicating that they did not know anything. Father summoned everyone. Did something big really happen? Fan Luiyu did not have a good impression of her fifth brother, nor did she have a good impression of her eldest brother. However, Fan Luiyu had basically handled all the transactions in the past 3 years, so their relationship had improved a lot. Looks like we'll find out later. His Majesty is here. The imperial palace quietened down. The majesty of the emperor made everyone afraid to speak, as it was very disrespectful. But when the person came in, everyone was dumbfounded. How can it be him? The fifth prince? What's going on? Seeing the fifth prince Fan Qinglong, who was surrounded by people, everyone doubted their eyes. Wasn't it the first prince and his majesty? How could it be the fifth prince? Everyone's expression changed. The situation was completely different. Something big was going to happen. Everyone, are you very surprised? Fan Qinglong smiled at everyone. He saw the shock, surprise, and other emotions. Fifth prince. One of the region lords had just spoken when a strand of fierce light assaulted him. Call me His Majesty. I don't mind killing you next time. The old man beside Fan Qinglong made his move. Pseudo-Great Emperor Expert. As soon as the old man made his move, the others immediately realized how powerful he was and were secretly shocked. These region lords really didn't have the habit of calling him Your Majesty. They were all hegemons of their own territories, so why would they care about a little prince? On the other hand, a few of the region masters had smiles on their faces. From today onwards, this emperor shall be the sole ruler of the empire. If there are any of you who are dissatisfied, you can speak up now. Fan Qinglong swept his gaze over the 30 or so domain lords. Among these region masters, Fan Qinglong wanted to rope in a group and suppress a group. Now, it was time to see who dared to stick their necks out. Fifth Prince, it's not impossible for you to become the great emperor, but you have to give us a convincing reason. Also, we want to see the great emperor. The Tianyan region ruler was the first to step forward. The Tianyan region lord had always been loyal to His Majesty. No matter who the future emperor was, the Tianyan region lord had to listen to the great emperor's words before he would agree. For the time being, he wouldn't believe the fifth prince's words. A cold light flashed in Fan Qinglong's eyes. Tianyan region lord, father has already gone into seclusion. Now, everything outside is up to me. Are you dissatisfied with my words? Wow. In the void around Fan Qinglong, more than 10 black shadows flew out. Once these black shadows appeared, they wailed like ghosts and howled like wolves. In an instant, they entered Fan Qinglong's body. Immediately, the aura on his body rose steadily. 8th job transition. 9th job transition. Pseudo-Great Emperor Realm. Fan Qinglong instantly obtained the combat power of a pseudo-Great Emperor. He moved through the air and came in front of the Tianyan region lord. He formed a seal with both hands and blasted it at the Tianyan region lord. As a veteran expert, the Tianyan region lord wasn't far from becoming a pseudo-Great Emperor. He was fearless and met the attack with a punch. 5th Prince, I don't believe your words. Unless the Great Emperor acknowledges it, no one will acknowledge your identity. The Tianyan region lord realized that his punch had missed. Once the seal came into contact with it, it disappeared. Fan Qinglong appeared above the Tianyan region lord and slammed his palm down. The Tianyan region lord hurriedly received it. There was a loud rumble, and he was slammed into the ground. This is what happens to those who disobey me. Fan Qinglong stood with his hands behind his back. His cold gaze swept across the crowd. The region lords were shocked. They looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. The 5th Prince had used a secret technique to advance to the pseudo-Great Emperor realm. He had defeated a veteran expert like the Tianyan region lord with one palm. How could they not be shocked? There were secret techniques that could instantly increase one's combat power. However, not many people could do it as easily as the 5th Prince. Although the difference between the pseudo-Great Emperor realm and the 9th job transition realm wasn't great, this gap was a line that couldn't be crossed in a short time. The Tianyan region lord was strong, but he still couldn't defeat the 5th Prince, who had advanced to the pseudo-Great Emperor realm. The Tianyan region lord wasn't killed, but he was severely injured. Immediately, someone came forward and used a special tool to detain the Tianyan region lord. Everyone present obviously knew that the 1st Prince was in trouble. Something must have happened to him. Long live His Majesty! Long live His Majesty! After a while, someone shouted. The 5th Prince had displayed the pseudo-Great Emperor realm. In addition, there was a pseudo-Great Emperor expert beside him. Even if they joined forces, they wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. The other region lords were not convinced, but they knew to lower their heads. The Tianyan region lord was the best proof. This time, the empire was really going to change. His Majesty, the crowd said. Ha ha ha, Fan Qinglong laughed. The Tianyan region lord colluded with outsiders and plotted to kill the 1st Prince. The evidence is conclusive. He shall be executed. The expeditionary guards shall head to the Tianyan region immediately and take control of the Tianyan region. Anyone who disobeys shall be killed without mercy. With this short sentence, everyone knew that the Tianyan region lord was finished. Fan Luyu looked at everything quietly. Fan Qinglong, if this is what you call a good thing, I won't keep you company. Fan Luyu turned and prepared to leave. The change had come too suddenly. The news from the outside world was all fake. If she didn't leave now, Fan Luyu was afraid that she wouldn't have the chance to leave. 9th sister, don't be in such a hurry to leave. It wasn't easy for you to come back. Stay in the palace for a while longer, Fan Qinglong said kindly. Immediately, someone came forward. Princess, don't make things difficult for us. Fan Luyu frowned slightly. 5th brother, aren't you afraid that father will be angry? Chapter 26-27. The world had changed. Just as everyone was waiting for the emperor to make a move, a shocking piece of news spread. The 5th Prince had taken the throne. Not the 1st Prince, not anyone else, but the 5th Prince had taken the throne. All the region masters agreed with the emperor's decision and supported the 5th Prince as the new emperor. It could be said that everyone's eyes were blinded. Apart from that, there was another piece of news about the fifth prince. The fifth prince had ascended to the quasi-emperor level. Regardless of whether everyone had digested this news, after the fifth prince took the throne, a large-scale suppression began. The reign of terror lasted for a whole month. In this month, many forces were suppressed. The fifth prince Fan Qinglong used his absolute power to cruelly settle the forces that did not recognize his position. Blood flowed like a river everywhere, and everyone gasped. In a short month, the fifth prince used cruel suppression to solve the internal problems. The forces and people who were not convinced were all cleared. Young Master Shao, I think you will like this gift. In the palace, Fan Qinglong met a distinguished guest that he had not seen in a long time. Yes, it was a distinguished guest. Shao Ran. Shao Ran came again. The last time he came was 3 years ago. When he came again, the empire had changed greatly, and Fan Qinglong had become the new emperor, controlling everything in the empire. Thank you, Your Majesty. I believe our relationship will be even closer. This gift was Fan Luoyu. That day, Fan Qinglong arranged for people to put the 9th princess under house arrest, contacted the Shao clan, and restarted the previous marriage. Fan Qinglong still had to curry favor with the 8 great ancient clans. Fan Qinglong was waiting for Shao Ran to say this. Although he did not know why the Shao clan valued the 9th sister, it had nothing to do with him. As long as she was sent, the Shao clan would have to owe him a favor. Young Master Shao, the 9th sister, is in the side palace. You haven't seen her for some time, so I won't disturb your reunion. Fan Qinglong said a few words and swaggered away. Shao Ran squinted. The 5th prince is much more troublesome than the 1st prince. In the side palace, Fan Luoyu was sullen. I wonder when Lin Fei will come. If she had known that she would be placed under house arrest, Fan Luoyu would definitely not have returned. She would never have thought that her 5th brother would launch a coup and kill her eldest brother to take the throne. His strength had skyrocketed in a single bound, and he had ascended to the great emperor realm. Even the Tianyan region, Lord, had been defeated. 9th princess, long time no see. Just as Fan Luoyu was letting her imagination run wild, someone had appeared at the door. You, why are you here? Fan Luoyu saw the person she least wanted to see, Shao Ran. Shao Ran smiled complacently. Why can't I be here? You should know that I came here for you. Fan Luoyu was not stupid. She immediately guessed that it was Fan Qinglong who had contacted the Shao family, wanting to curry favor with the Shao family and secure his current position. I am Lin Fei's man. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? Shao Ran's eyes were ferocious. No wonder you're the 9th princess. You're so good at scaring people. If you were Lin Fei's woman, you wouldn't be a virgin now. Young master, I can see that. Fan Luoyu's expression was a little unnatural. This was perhaps the most helpless thing for Fan Luoyu in the past 3 years. That bastard had been playing the game of disappearing. This made Fan Luoyu love and hate him at the same time. Could it be that she was really incomparable to Qin Lan? I am also a princess, all right? Shao Ran had been observing Fan Luoyu. From the moment he entered, he was relieved. Fan Luoyu was actually still a virgin. He could not believe that this was true. No one knew better than him the difference between a virgin and an unvirgin. Although he did not know why Lin Fei did not take away Fan Luoyu's virginity, Shao Ran was not interested in finding out. All that was left now was to bring Fan Luoyu back to the Shao family. I don't know what you're talking about. Fan Luoyu became determined. If you want to touch me, you better be prepared to be killed by Big Brother Lin Fei. Lin Fei's name was the last thing Shao Ran wanted to hear. I never thought that a princess like you would fall in love with someone with an unknown background. Shao Ran shook his head and snorted. Don't even think about using Lin Fei to threaten me. Last time I was careless. Based on what you said, I have decided to give the 9th princess a generous gift. For example, killing Lin Fei on the spot. You dare! Fan Luoyu's face was frosty. Ninth Princess, just you wait. Xiao Ran turned to leave. Fan Luoyu chased after him, but was blocked by the gate's formation. No, I have to inform Big Brother Lin Fei. Xiao Ran must have brought people here to set up an ambush. Fan Luoyu's mood quickly sank. There was a formation set up here, and it was a super strong one. Fan Luoyu was unable to send a message for a while. Xiao Ran left the side hall. He immediately contacted Fan Qinglong. No one wanted to deal with Lin Fei more than him. He had never forgotten what he had said back then. As such, he had never dared to enter the imperial capital of the Expeditionary Empire, afraid that the lad would kill him without hesitation. Xiao Ran had been waiting for 3 years. He had originally thought of Fan Luoyu as the second batch of reserves. Unexpectedly, God had given him a big surprise. Fan Luoyu was still a virgin. Deal with Lin Fei. Fan Qinglong's eyes flashed. Actually, he had wanted to deal with Lin Fei, the enemy who had always made him suffer. Now that young Master Xiao had mentioned it, it was perfect. Young Master Xiao, Lin Fei has a strong background. He has been hiding in the Capital Institute. There are great emperors there. Even I can't deal with him. Fan Qinglong said helplessly. The Capital Institute had always been on the fringes of the royal family. Fan Qinglong had been eyeing it for a long time. Xiao Ran's eyes shifted. That's easy. As long as your majesty gives the order, someone will be willing to deal with the Capital Institute. The empire is in your majesty's hands, let alone a Capital Institute. The Xiao family is willing to help. The existence of the Capital Institute made Fan Qinglong very uncomfortable. If there was a chance to deal with them now, it would be great. Thank you for your support, young Master Xiao. Fan Qinglong smiled. Then let's discuss how to take down this Capital Institute and capture Lin Fei. After all, he is our common enemy. Perhaps we can get some important secrets. Xiao Ran didn't mind providing some help. A few days later, the newly appointed emperor, Fan Qinglong, went to the Capital Institute for an inspection. This time, Fan Qinglong didn't go alone but with troops. At the same time, a piece of news spread. Chapter 26-28. The Capital Institute. When Qiao Qingshan heard that the new emperor was coming for an inspection, he cursed loudly. Who does he think he is? He's just interested in the Capital Institute. Sitting in the position of headmaster, Qiao Qingshan could see more clearly than anyone else that there was definitely something fishy about the fifth prince's ascension. It was nothing more than taking advantage of the emperor's absence to act recklessly. Once the emperor returned, he could guarantee that the fifth prince would not have a good ending. Fan Luoyu is in the hands of the fifth prince and wants to marry into the Xiao family. I have to talk to Lin Fei about this. In the past 3 years, Qiao Qingshan had received many benefits from Lin Fei. Others might not know about the relationship between the ninth princess and Lin Fei, but he was very clear about it. Qiao Qingshan admired Lin Fei. The ninth princess of the empire had fallen in love with him and conquered the saintess of the demon god empire, Qinlan. What a beauty! After hearing the news, he immediately realized that something had happened to the ninth princess. Luckily, I left a communication tool behind. Otherwise, something would have happened. Ancient wilderness world, Lianyun continent. Lin Fei had not been to Emperor Peak for a long time. Things here had become the focus, and Lin Fei had no choice but to oversee things personally. Luckily, everything was going according to plan. Many tribes had developed ambitions, and once they were ambitious, there was no way it would not be chaotic. Something has happened to Fan Luoyu. Lin Fei saw the message from Qiao Qingshan and was slightly stunned. How could something have happened to Fan Luoyu in the empire? This is strange. Even though he did not pay much attention to the empire's actions, Lin Fei knew that the eldest prince was in control of the overall situation and had suppressed the fifth prince. In the future, he could still be a stable lord. Little devil, give me the latest news about the empire expedition. Lin Fei had not paid attention to the news from the Empire for some time. After the system extracted, a large piece of information popped up. It was very detailed, and anyone who saw it would be speechless. It was even more detailed than the news from the major forces. The fifth prince has actually launched a rebellion in the palace. He's really bold. Isn't he afraid that the great emperor will kill him? When he saw the latest news, Lin Fei really doubted his eyes. The first prince is too useless. He was actually killed by Fan Qinglong. What a scam! He caused Fan Luoyu to be placed under house arrest in the imperial palace. And Xiao Ran, who would have thought that he would dare to come again after we let him go last time? He even wants a marriage alliance. He really doesn't know how to spell the word death. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. In the past 3 years, Lin Fei hadn't made any moves, but that didn't mean he wouldn't kill. The marriage in half a month, isn't it because you want to get out because of me? Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. He could see the problem with a single glance. It would be strange if they were not targeting him, regardless of whether it was Fan Qinglong or Xiao Ran. They all wanted to kill him. Since you guys are together, let's have some fun. Fan Qinglong had arrived at Imperial College. It was a huge scene. Everyone knew that this new emperor had ulterior motives. The influence of the current Imperial College was no less than that of the Empire. It was even vaguely becoming a place of its own, and the Imperial College was vaguely going to break away from it. When this new emperor arrived, Qiao Qingshan still came out to welcome him. After all, the emperor had established the Imperial College. No matter how many years had passed, they still had a connection. Qiao Qingshan didn't address the fifth prince as Your Majesty. Instead, he addressed him as Your Highness. Welcome, Your Highness, to the Imperial College for an inspection. Fan Qinglong didn't like this form of address. Stubborn old man. Fan Qinglong cursed in his heart, but he said, the Imperial College is getting better and better. You guys have brought great honor to the Empire. Everyone knows about the Imperial College's prestige now. Many people have come because of its reputation. You've worked hard, Principal Qiao. Even though he wanted to swallow the entire Imperial College, Fan Qinglong held back. He wanted to take things one step at a time. Qiao Qingshan responded unhurriedly, neither servile nor overbearing. Even if the fifth prince became the emperor in his eyes, he was still the fifth prince. Principal Qiao, I heard that the Chamber of Commerce in the Imperial College is doing very well. I'd like to see it. Fan Qinglong already had a plan. If he wanted to start, he would start there. In the past 3 years, the Imperial College and the Avengers Chamber of Commerce had developed a close relationship. This was the only place where he could make a breakthrough. He would swallow the Imperial College bit by bit until he had complete control of it. Sure. Qiao Qingshan didn't refuse. He couldn't refuse. He was secretly on his guard. The Avengers Chamber of Commerce was now an independent existence in the Imperial College. It was always open to the public. Every day, warriors would come to the Chamber of Commerce to buy some popular technological treasures. There were also some who came to exchange for energy cards. Ever since the spread of energy cards, everyone had taken a liking to them. At the same time, it had gradually become a kind of currency, and everyone loved it. By exchanging for energy cards, the Avengers Chamber of Commerce could obtain large amounts of energy units every day. Like a gold-swallowing beast, it made people jealous. Fan Qinglong once again came to the Avengers Chamber of Commerce. His emotions were very complicated, and his expression slowly darkened. This place will soon be mine. Fan Qinglong toured the Avengers Chamber of Commerce under Qiao Qingshan's guidance. The cheap technological treasures were very tempting. Fan Qinglong said very little on the way. Just as the tour was about to end, Fan Qinglong suddenly said, I heard that Lin Fei is a genius of the Imperial College. Why not come out and meet him? Hearing this, Qiao Qingshan knew that the fifth prince was about to make a move. He knew very well about the feud between the two. Even if 300 years passed, the fifth prince would still not forget, let alone 3 years. Your Highness, Lin Fei has returned to headquarters. He hasn't been around recently. Qiao Qingshan deliberately mentioned the headquarters so that the fifth prince would back off. You may be the emperor now, but you're still far from having the influence of a great emperor. These words were very tactful, but in Fan Qinglong's ears, they were exceptionally harsh. What's wrong with me? Even you are speaking up for Lin Fei. Fan Qinglong frowned and said, That's a pity. I wanted to meet Lin Fei to find out more about the situation. Qiao Qingshan knew that the fifth prince would not be so kind as to come and check on the Avengers' Chamber of Commerce. Your Highness, if there's something you want to find out from Lin Fei, you can tell me. Maybe I know. Qiao Qingshan said, There's actually no need to inform Lin Fei about such a small matter.